In this game, victory is a choice. You lose. You rebuild. You evolve. Or you're left in the dust. No, we are not done yet. This is where we earn our scars.
I bloody love this egg.
Every loss takes a piece of you. Until only the strongest parts remain. Keep moving.
Smoking spliffs, one in a place, she base, she rolling hips. Breakthrough, what I wanna make it do that. Breakthrough, what I wanna.
Slowly walking up the stairs here. There's a chance that they can make the first swing and get some entry. There's a chance. Kraber in hand. Oh, it's a swing and a miss, though, with the Kraber, and that's an unfortunate one in that regards. Dooms, though, gonna be able to open things up. Nice spray coming across. You gotta try and finish things up if you're RRQ. Right now, Doom's the last one left alive. Versus Metro in a 1v1. Looking to make the play here is Dooms with the R99 in hand. Should be able to at least get the bat. That's going to be the good news here. Fakes the stick. Oh, imagine if you can hit the Kraber shot. Finds it. Oh, it's a big opening with the Kraber. Pushes right through with the R99. And RRQ steps up in a big way in game number 1. Metro falls. Might be able to get back to their feet. Havoc still continuing to be out of sight, out of mind. Alter TP though. And this could be where they get a chance to play aggressive. The nades come out, and Zoyo does have that car to make a play. Got 3 still left alive. The problem though, the zone starts to push on in. I think simply just gonna wait for this fight outside to wrap up. Can RRQ at least solidify a second place? I believe this is a 2v1. Now a 1v1. Pricey left alive. Havoc look to play cleanup. And here they come on in. They are the custodians of the lobby. As it's now a 3v1. The Sparrow trying to play around of the triple take. No, hold on. Havoc absolutely insane. The 1v3 to clutch it out. There is no way. No how. Absolutely built different. Ice in the veins. Can't drop floor by floor. You have that slight stun that could put you in a dangerous position unless maybe they have the Valk ult available to them. They do have the ult of the Caustic, the stinky gas to potentially send out. But the defensive bombardment now going to hit them here, causing them to need to reset. DCG left alive. Lil Sam, the last one left alive, will be taken out here by RRQ. The question is, can RRQ get themselves reset as this lobby continues to close, taking to the sky as ARAM. We'll see how that plays out for them. Wolves left as a 2, and it might be just Crazy Kong here in a second. Crazy Kong also takes up to the sky. Team RRQ gonna be out in the 5th position. 4th gonna belong to Wolves. ARAM gonna be out in 3rd. And as I mentioned earlier, it felt like Team Ubi in a winning position. Their left is a full 3. Doom, however, goes down. And maybe there's a chance for S8UL to turn things around. But no, Team Ubi will not be denied. Consistently consistent? Nah, they're one of the best when it comes to the best of Apac South. QWQ 21 has the alternator in hand. Looks to peek over the edge. Isn't going to be able to find it. Quickly pushing back into the high ground and back behind their Newcastle wall as well. Portaling away. Here is QWQ to try and find themselves to some safety. And now RRQ will be the last ones to leave this building. The good news is maybe that will allow for this lobby to thin itself out just a little bit more. It does look like RRQ and DCG are going to have to take a fight before this building is completely removed from the zone. Strafing Flame looking for the resets. He's going to go down. Metro, last one left alive. Metro, if you can get Strafing Flame up, because you are on the slow-moving side of the zone, maybe a chance to move back to a full 3, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get a full reset. Goat now going to look to push out here over towards Havoc. Uses the bubble to be able to buy a little bit of space. It looks like Havoc could very well be the ones that are looking to walk away with a dub here. Metro, still the solo, will end up going out in 4th. but that's yet another top 5 for that squad. QWQ out in third, and GOAT as a trio left alive. They'll be able to come out on top. Again, the calm before the storm, the final ring starting to close. Who's gonna be able to come out in game number 5 as it's Low who sprays across the way with the R99, is able to break a shield, but is not able to find the kill. Crazy Kong does fall. Low trying to keep themselves alive. That's a no-scope, my goodness! And I almost thought he was gonna find a second, but now it's gonna be all left to win here for Wolves Esports. And this could be huge. If you can clean up this fight quickly for TYK, you're still left as a full 3. Meanwhile, on the other side of this storm, you've got PXX and S8UL starting to take a fight. TYK should be able to move in. Oh, I thought and clean up the third party, but that's not going to be the case. S8UL did not overextend. Now it's S8UL who's trying to be able to reset, but do they have enough time? That's the question, as now TYK, the young trio, looking to make some noise here in match day number 5. S8UL, though, they are the experienced trio. They are one of the big dogs here in Apac South for a reason. Legacy going to fall. Sharky gonna try and stick the revive. Not going to be able to, though, and it's a clean wipe from TYK. That's some spicy soup, baby, as they move up into the 10 spot and put themselves into the conversation going into game number 6. Wolves a trio, and Team Orchid a trio as well. Right now it's the Wolves' responsibility to try and find these remaining 2 isolated players from RRQ, and at minimum guarantee themselves a second. They'll be able to do that. And now it all comes down to this.
Tango spotted. Danger close.
A final 3v3 for all the marbles. Team Orchid finished first on our last match point day, and a win in game 6 would at least bring back what's been a struggle of a day, but Wolves, they have the high ground. They've got the advantage, and the Krabby Patty in hand, no scope hit. Hold on a second though, Aflo able to find a knock. When comes up to the high ground as well, when knocked, it is a 1v1, and it's Team Orchid. Somehow Anakin pushes into the high ground and takes down Obi-Wan. Right now, Doom's the last one left alive. Versus Metro in a 1v1. Looking to make the play here is Dooms with the R99 in hand. Should be able to at least get the bat. That's going to be the good news here. Takes the stick. Oh, imagine if you can hit the Kraber shot, finds it. Oh, it's a big opening with the Kraber, pushes right through with the R99. Can RRQ at least solidify a second place? I believe this is a 2v1. Now a 1v1. Pricey left alive. Havoc look to play cleanup. And here they come on in. They are the custodians of the lobby. As it's now a 3v1. The Sparrow trying to play around up the triple take. No, hold on. Havoc absolutely insane. The 1v3 to clutch it out. There is no way.
One of these guys on stream, Apex dying?
In the ring, but just on the edge of it. But they are currently taking
Jackie
a
Chan.
fight.
Please.
And Jackie Chan gonna be the last one left alive. On back and is trying to reset on their own. So now Jackie Chan.
Wait, Jackie Chan, grief. 1v3 grief.
Push this to try and take these two out while they are killable. And Jackie.
Oh my God! Jackie Chan!
How about low with the absolutely cleaning up? That's one, make it two. Oh, I thought it was gonna be three. Unlimited Kraber shots though, make you feel comfortable. Just sending shots off in the opposite direction. Havoc lands right in front of Wolves Esports. And that is an unfortunate spot to try and evac into. And those are big ticks that continue to come across from low as he just continues to pop and then to find the kill. Crazy Kong does fall. Low trying to keep themselves alive. That's a no-scope, my goodness. And I almost thought he was gonna find a second.
And here we go,
And now
baby.
it all comes down to this.
Holy if Wolves win this game, I will weak,
For
bro.
all the marbles.
Tell me no name doesn't.
Finished
bro.
first on
Infinite
our
ammo
last
car
match point day.
And
Game 6 would at least
Kraber.
bring back what's been a struggle of a day, but Wolves, they have the high ground.
Wait, low-key on a good spot right now.
They've got the advantage.
Oh my
And
God,
the
one
Krabby Patty
bloody.
in hand, no scope hit. Hold on a second though, Aflo able to find a knock. Gwen comes up to
Wait.
the high ground as well. Well,
Oh
Gwen
my God,
is
Orchid
1v1.
won!
Oh my God, no saying. Oh my God, no saying.
And it's Team Orchid. Somehow Anakin pushes into the high ground and takes down Obi-Wan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Apac South Pro League. This is B vs C, and yes, Q and Stony are back together again like we never left. But Q, it's our last day before the break. But, I mean, we have an exciting announcement of what's happening on Battlegrounds in 2 weeks' time. So there is something for people to watch in between the break of our ALGS split. But with the 20 squads that are out here today, I'm pretty excited to see how this lobby goes.
This is going to be really fun for the two lobbies, or for the two groups that are playing today. You catch up to the one lobby that is not in here, and at the conclusion here, we'll essentially be 2/3 of the way through the season. Everyone will only have 2 match days left. While we won't necessarily have our LAN teams solidified, we'll kind of have a good grasp of them, which does mean today we'll be looking especially for those teams that are kind of that 8 through 12 range, and kind of see how that bubble is starting to develop coming down the home stretch. I'm really excited.
We'll go and have a look at the 20 teams that are playing today as well, so everyone can see what teams are out here for B versus C. And, well, the last time these teams played, Q, there's a team that had won this lobby that I don't think many people pulled out but one person.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe for people who don't know, the non-ball knowers. Yeah, no, PXX had a pretty big day last time around, and I think they are also in that spot where we were just talking about on the bubble. So going to be really excited to see how they're going to be able to carry that momentum over today. But when you do look at the rest of this list, I mean, you do still have some heavy hitters, looking at the likes of VK, right? Gen G. I'm also looking at the likes of like Edward Gaming, Weibo Gaming, who are also teams that are in the back end of that bubble. So I feel like when you look at today, the 20 teams that are in here, there are teams that are on the bubble, teams who want to put themselves on the bubble. I mean, you've also got Wolves, of course, who are going to be on the hunt. Today's going to be fun.
Give us your top 3 for today.
Oh, top 3 for today. Oh, I would really, I'm hoping for a Gen G win, although they have been struggling down the back half of a lot of series, I feel like. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye. I'm thinking Gen G, you're going to be rolling with them. I mean, you've got to roll VK. I feel like, am I taking the easy route just going Gen G, VK Gaming, Wolves? I mean, it's really hard to go against those 3 in the top 3, right?
Yeah. I mean, my pick and Dark Horse kind of pick for today is going to be Team UB. I do feel like Easy Flash and crew are due. Now, also, every team that I've chosen, I have put a pretty big curse on them, apparently. So, hopefully, that is not the case here today, but I feel like they are due for a pretty big game as well. We're going to have a look at the map scenes today and where we are heading. Well, we have Storm Point and E District to finish off here for our B versus C. And I mean, to start off on Storm Point and finish over on E District, I feel like that's going to be some pretty good gameplay for us to be watching today.
It should be really fun. Storm Point, of course, obviously being a consistent map that I feel like everyone, for the most part, enjoys, both spectators and players alike. And then who doesn't love E-District, man? I mean, the end games, I feel like, always give us, I mean, just plenty of packed action. I think what's going to be really interesting as we move through the end of E-District, we've kind of noticed, especially with like the legend bans, right? That 3, 4, 5 mark is where we tend to start seeing things getting a little bit more defensive, seeing the Gibbies coming out, the Newcastles coming off the board even. You have all of that coming out into play, plus 15, 16 teams left late. Oh, man, give it to me. I'm here for it.
I'm excited to see how these games go today for sure. And I mean, there was a team that we were talking about just before, and that's PXX. Well, let's see how they go up against VK here with their set of games that they've had so far.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because VK being a team that I feel like everyone looks to when it comes to the region, PXX not so much, but you can see, I mean, can go toe-to-toe with the best within the region, right? I mean, when they're damaged slightly behind, but not too far. Obviously, both teams have been able to come out with a match day win as well. PXX, a squad that I think has shown has the right to be at least in the conversation at the top of the leaderboard, which is where they're sitting right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a massive sign for the boys of VK Gaming as well, because it's a team that had a really bad split too. Yes, they didn't have QQ, but to see how dominant they have been so far throughout split 1 for Pro League this year, it's a great sign. But also you look at PXX, and this is a team that's been put together at the start of this season, and they're starting to really show that they're a team that are to be reckoned with as well. So it's an exciting set of days today. And I mean, there's a lot of players that are out here, Q, who have been doing some amazing things. And I mean, let's start off with QQ because he has just been insane.
Yeah, I mean, QQ has been really good, popping off so far this split. I mean, 34 kills. I mean, when you look at the KDA, 3.71, obviously a big damage leader as well. I think the big thing for me when you look at VK, they're like the highest point average when you talk about on maps where it gets cluttered, like on E-District. And part of it has to do with the fragging potential of QQ, who just really helps lead the way for the squad.
Yeah, he's had well, you know, the year that we'd expect this guy to have. He's one of the best in the region, in the game. We know how good he is. He single-handedly, that 1v3 that he did at EWC won them that championship. So the dude's insane, and it does look good for VK as they seem to be back. And another one of the players that seem to be back, and that is No Name. I mean, he has a different name each week, hence his No Name main name, but he was farming last week.
New name, whatever you want to call him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he was farming last week, as we can see here with the Kraber. You had the chance to watch him, and it looks like he's back where he belongs.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about two teams that really have set atop of the region, we were looking at two of the players that really are should I say partly responsible, are for a big majority part responsible. Just like we talked about for QQ, No Name's really no different for the Wolves. You can see the stats at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. This is also another team that over the course of the season, averaging the most points. And again, I mean, No Name is really helped leading the way for the squad.
I mean, how can you not talk about Asia? Gen G. Now, they would... Obviously, we know how good Dexter is as well, but it feels like we need a really big day from Asia today for Gen G to take the win.
Yeah, we've seen that Gen G has continued to do a really good job of being able to pop off when it comes to KP through the season. Right now, sitting towards the edge of the bubble because of placement. But when you have to go out and get KP, who else better to do it in the region than Asia's? Always seems to be able to find the highlight plays. And you said it, if they're going to be looking to be able to pop off today, they got to rely on this young man here.
Well, I feel like we've covered as much as we can cover, Q. I mean, 20 squads out here, and it is a pretty stacked lobby. Now, like I said, we do have some amazing stuff coming to Battlegrounds in these next 3 weeks. We also do have a charity event, which will be on the 15th of May, but on the 16th of May, which will be announced in between Game 3 and 4, so everyone stick around. We've got a pretty exciting tournament coming our way here on Battlegrounds as well. Everyone that's in chat, we do have 2 lots of coined packs to give away today. 4,350 coins each pack. Now, we all know the new season is coming in, 4 or 5 days? It's a pretty good time to get some coins up your sleeve, Q, for that new season and get yourself that battle pass. So stick around. As you know, the code word in chat usually is Apac South. That will be live after game number 1. So stick around for that as well. Q, is there anything else we need to talk about before we do get into game number 1? It does look like we're very close for the action. Is there anything you're looking for here heading into Storm Point?
So I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I'm really going to be focused on how Gen G can start today. Right now, they're currently sitting in 10th. They lead the region in KP, and that's even with them technically being short of a match day, right? So we know that they have the ability to frag out. One thing, though, is they're struggling getting to the end game. They are currently finishing just shy of 10th on the season, which for Gen G is a place that we're not used to seeing them. And especially for a team, as I did mention earlier, who feels like they kind of struggle in the back half of series, it feels like they're really going to have to put their best foot forward on Storm Point. So you got 3 games at it. I think Storm Point is where they have gotten one of their 2 game wins. So let's see if they can do it in one of these first 3 matches.
Talking about Storm Point, I think there's one thing that we haven't covered, and that is where everyone is landing for today over on Storm Point. It does look like we are waiting for Gen G to get into the lobby. So we've got enough time to talk about Storm Point. And we'll go and have a look right now where these guys are landing. And, well, you can see right there, exactly where everyone is, and Gen G landing at Cenote Cave, which I really like because that seems to be the POI that teams come out of with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you see a lot of teams tend to prioritize Cenote as a good POI to be able to draft. So love seeing Gen G get that there. Kind of surprised they were able to pick it up in the 8th spot, if we're being perfectly honest. But hey, to each their own. I'm also going to be looking towards Wolves at Down Beast, another POI that tends to seem to kind of be a PowerPoint. But man, I'll tell you what, if things end up going towards that northeastern side, you go up towards VKG, you go up even towards Edward Gaming, watch out. One thing I forgot to mention about VK Gaming, they've had our best conversion rate thus far when you talk about going from top 10s to top 5s. 90% of the time that they get into the top 10, they're able to convert those into top 5. So we'll see if they can continue that rate here today, Sony.
Yeah, for Ubi, landing at Pylon, I really like that as well. It does look like, I'm pretty sure that's Coastal Camp behind them. That is free as well. So it'll be interesting. And they also do have to be careful. You got PXX that are very close by, landing at Echo. So there is a fair bit of room for Ubi to be a little bit aggressive and trying to split their landing in this situation. But we'll wait and see. And it does look like game 1 is not too far away. What are you looking at when you look at this map today and how teams have drafted, considering majority of the picks here looks like a lot of them were in the first round?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? We do see that on E-District because of the fact that a lot of the POIs have plenty of real estate. Usually the opposite map gets drafted first, but I think especially when you do talk about Storm Point, it kind of makes sense. A lot of teams wanting to prioritize here. I am going to be really interested, especially for teams who I think when we look at overall in the standings, who can still make some plays again, of the likes of EDG, even Weibo Gaming, who are dropping like dead center in the middle of the map, but Jurassic, who are next to Ubi, who you had mentioned earlier. I think are teams who could really benefit from being able to really getting off to a hot start. Even when you look over towards Kikoi, they had a really good match day their last time out, Stoney. They're also dropping dead center of the map, so they should be able to have, I mean, at least a decent priority to really any end game sort of zones here.
It feels like Kikoi as well, a team that has a pretty good position here for this map. I feel like they have a good chance to really turn their series around here as well, but we're not too far from game number 1. As we know, there's some big hitters out here. You got Wolves Esports, VK Gaming, Gen G. Last time we said this would be the lobby that would full send. It was one of the craziest days for games. We had, I think it was 2 games in a row with 18 plus teams nearly standing in Olympus. So this lobby has the potential to go either way here today, and I think that's what makes B vs C so exciting here in Apac South.
Yeah, I had mentioned it last week, but I do want to reiterate the point. I think for a region that traditionally in the past, Stony, I think has at times been a little overly aggressive, I've really been enjoying seeing the discipline across the region, seeing those really packed end games, especially knowing that for the teams who are going to be coming out of Apac South and going to play internationally, that's more of the play style that you have to be like have a really good grasp of to be able to compete on an international stage, which again is why I think when you look towards teams who are maybe you expect to dominate the region, that maybe not dominate is the best way of saying it, because we've even really seen across all of the regions. This year has been about the closest competitions we've seen. And again, that's across all 4 regions. And Apac South has been no different. But to see Gen G down where they're at, definitely a surprise. So I think as far as for them, a team that you do have to look at now, knowing that you're coming essentially down the home stretch here, with this being their 4th match day.
Let's just hope this one person that is not in the game gets in the game here for game number 1. But so far, we have covered, basically you could all cover here in Apac South. We know how many teams that are out here and are big hitters, and hopefully we can get into the action very soon, but it does not look good at the moment. But I do like that we are starting on Storm Point. It does feel very different because I feel like we haven't seen Storm Point first for a while.
I feel like we haven't seen Storm Point first for a while, and I know that I had the 1 week that I missed, but I feel like we've been seeing so much of a just different order of E-District with the Olympus. So no Olympus today. We start off on Storm Point, which again, I feel like a tried and true. I feel like when you look at the 3 maps, probably the one that I think most agreed upon between spectators and competitors of which ones you like is kind of the most balance between the two. So why not get started there? And I'm looking through. And unfortunately, I think we have one player missing from VK. Got to hold the pocket to be able to make sure you can make your way into the drop ship, man. I more than likely going to be seeing a quick restart here on game number 1. But hey, I guess you know what, Stoney, let's get them out of the way before we actually get underway. That way, once we get rolling, we can keep moving, you know?
That's it. So chat, sit back, relax. We're going to hit you with a BRB screen. Yes, it's very early for this, but this is Apex Legends. We usually don't have this kind of problems lately, but it is something that we're very used to here at Apac South. Not this year. Last year was a very, very tough time. But we'll be right back with some Apex action for you just around the corner.
Right now, Doom's the last one left alive. Versus Metro in a 1v1. Looking to make the play here is Dooms with the R99 in hand. Should be able to at least get the bat. That's going to be the good news here. Fakes the stick. Oh, imagine if you can hit the Kraber shot, finds it. Oh, it's a big opening with the Kraber, pushes right through with the R99. Can RRQ at least solidify a second place? I believe this is a 2v1. Now a 1v1. Pricey left alive. Havoc look to play cleanup. And here they come on in. They are the custodians of the lobby. As it's now a 3v1. The Sparrow trying to play around up the triple take. No, hold on. Havoc absolutely insane. The 1v3 to clutch it out. There is no way.
One of these guys on stream takes 9
in the ring, but just on the edge of it. But they are currently taking
Jackie
a
Chan.
fight.
Please.
And Jackie Chan gonna be the last one left alive. On back and is trying to reset on their own. So now Jackie Chan.
Wait, Jackie Chan, grief. 1v3 grief.
Push this to try and take these two out while they are killable. And Jackie.
Oh my God! Jackie Chan!
How about low with the absolutely cleaning up? That's one, make it 2. Oh, I thought it was gonna be 3. Unlimited Kraber shots though, make you feel comfortable. Just sending shots off in the opposite direction. Havoc lands right in front of Wolves Esports. And that is an unfortunate spot to try and evac into. And those are big ticks that continue to come across from Low as he just continues to pop and then to find the kill. Crazy Kong does fall. Low trying to keep themselves alive. That's a no-scope, my goodness. And I almost thought he was gonna find a second.
And here we go,
And now
baby.
it all comes down to this.
Holy if Wolves win this game, I will weak,
For all
bro.
the marbles.
Tell me no name doesn't, bro.
Finished
Infinite
first on
and
our last
Apar
match point day.
And
Game 6 would at least
Kraber.
bring back what's been a struggle of a day, but Wolves, they have the high ground.
Wait, low-key on a good spot right now.
They've got the advantage.
Oh my
And
God,
the
one
Krabby Patty
bloody
in hand,
grief.
no scope hit. Hold on a second though, Aflo able to find a knock. Gwen comes up to
Wait.
the high ground as well.
Oh
Gwen
my God,
is
Orchid
1v1.
won!
Oh my god, no saying. Oh my god, no saying.
And it's Team Orchid. Somehow Anakin pushes into the high ground and takes down Obi-Wan.
Alrighty, we are here. Finally, game number 1 is about to get underway. Q, it is go time.
I'm excited. It's time to get down into it. Like we mentioned, a big day today for all of our 20 teams that are in the lobby. This is match day number 4. After today, you have 2 match days left. And also, I guess we might as well mention it while we do see, of course, the Legends selects on our screens. You'll see Autobots Esports, and for maybe some of our viewers who are tuning in who maybe haven't been sticking to, ears to the street, haven't been keeping up on social medias and stuff, that is Control-Alt-Defeat getting picked up this week. So welcome to Autobots Esports. We'll see if maybe the new org buff might come into play for him today, Sony.
And we'll have to wait and see. Hasn't really helped teams in the past. I think PXX it has, but we'll wait and see how it is going to go today for the boys. But game number 1 is underway. Q.
Mind me, you said Ubi was who you're keeping an eye on today out there at Pylon here for game number 1. So we'll definitely be. I feel like for Team Ubi, I think one thing I've really been enjoying seeing for them, you and I, we obviously saw them throughout the course of our qualifiers, or I guess they called them the Open or whatever this time around, whatever you want to call it, right? But for them, they were, while never coming out on top to be able to qualify, always in the hunt. We were kind of curious. Of course, there is a little bit of a difference between those Opens and Pro League, how that would be able to translate once they did get to Pro League. I mean, Easy Flash knows what it takes to get the LAN and seemingly has helped led the way, at least thus far. They're in a really good position here halfway through, Stoney.
Yeah, they are, and it's like I said, it's a massive break for a lot of these players, Q, as well. So you really don't want to let it not all out today. So a lot of these teams will be looking for a pretty big set of games here this afternoon. And well, one team that we've seen come through the hard way, and this is Black Hole, but they haven't had much luck really, Q, this season.
Yeah, they haven't really been able to put much together. Currently sitting down in 28th. They've got 9 points. Last time this lobby played, they finished in 18th. So they'll try and see if they can top that. I do feel like, though, they have been a team that's at least been able to put themselves in decent positions. Just haven't been able to find the KP to advance essentially from that, like, 8 to 12 range, finishing most games, to being able to kind of get those top 5s. They're only being able to convert essentially 40 of their top 10s into top 5s, which they're not getting very many top 10s on that. So hard to be able to kind of stack up the points with that.
Game number 1. We are finally underway here for our Group B versus C. We are watching Weibo Gaming rotating in at the moment. The closest team to them is Kakoi, and it looks like they're rotating more towards that bean area as teams are starting to understand where this zone is going to end for game number 1. Well, as we know, Q, last time, like I said, these teams played, it was a very, very slow set of games, and it does look like, now I know a lot of people don't like the baby comp name, but it does look like we can see a fair few Gibbies and Newcastles already out here as well.
Oh man, baby comp this, baby comp that. It's all I hear about this season. I feel like baby comp, no, honestly, I mean, you can understand. What's crazy is I feel like we do see it a little bit more, at least early in Apac South, and partly that it feels like more teams really enjoying, I guess, the extra value of the Valkyrie. We've actually seen Valkyrie getting banned in Apac South, whereas I'm not sure we've really seen that be the case elsewhere. Now, you did mention as far as how we've seen some slower games. Of course, we do have teams that have already started making their way out towards the west here, trying to find themselves at least a little bit of real estate. And while there are still some teams who are looking to try and at least make their way over towards the west, it feels like a lot of teams have a really good read on this right now.
TYK, closest team to Fizz6 Gaming, so it does look like some teams are trying to rotate through that north pad area at the moment. One legend that is still out here and seems to not been getting banned lately as well is that Alter. All of a sudden, it looks like maybe Fizz6 Gaming could be in a little bit of trouble as TYK are looking to be aggressive here early on. Arm using that arm to shoot his gun. He does get down one. All of a sudden, Fizz 6 on the back step already and looking to be the first team eliminated here. Oh my god, YRV should be able to move in and clean this up. There's only one man left standing. It's a 1v2 and Fizz 6 are out of here early on.
Spicy soup, man. They do come with a bit of a punch, and they pack it there for TYK. Able to pick up a little bit early KP and able to get themselves a full reset as well. Last week, I had mentioned DCG was one of the teams that I was looking for, was kind of sitting on the cusp of the bubble and still kind of in that similar spot here, Stoney. I feel like when you look at their roster, they're, you know, when you see Roy, they're a player that you always would love to see on LAN. I feel like one of the region's favorites when it does come to, you know, at least through history. And we've seen that they've had potential. They just haven't been able to put together a full series just yet. If they can start things off with an early engagement here and get some KP, that would be huge.
Yeah, really love DCG. Oh my god, Shayo with the god nades getting rid of Edward Gaming. Louisan finishes off as well. But DCG getting some early KP here. Also, 18 squads still standing. It looks like TYK maybe looking to join the party. But it looks like they're going to be a little bit smarter with the situation here and rotate back. So 2 teams already gone pretty early here, Q. And that's, yeah, Edward Gaming and Fizz 6.
Yeah, I can't say I'm too surprised on the Fizz 6. Unfortunate for EDG, though, because they are one of the teams that I was looking for to really try and put themselves, or sorry to say, keep themselves in that contention for that back end of the bubble for LAN. So to start off with a 0-point banger, or should I say 0-point non-banger, I guess a dud we should call it, definitely going to be tough. Good news is it is a long day, right? You got 6 matches. If you can bounce back in match 2, you are quite fine. You were looking and keeping an eye on Team Ubi. Well, it's going to be up to Doom to try and make some magic happen because they are the last one left alive. And I think they're going to tuck tail and run because Weibo has come in and they've been able to clean up too.
Now, Weibo, though, they're going to rotate back. This might help Ubi to be able to get that reset, but doesn't look like a very good start for the boys. Best thing about it, though, the ult is left standing. You don't have to be too close to grab those banners. So he is pretty close to a respawn beacon. It does look like it is getting used by someone else. I think something that's cool to see next season, Q, is the fact that you'll be able to revive someone on their death box. That is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I'll definitely be intrigued to see as far as, especially at the highest of levels, what kind of plays can be made. Here's Black Hole. Easty is currently the last one left standing, and unfortunately, I don't think we'll have time to be able to get the bat off as QWQ have been able to move right on in and pick up a couple of KP. QWQ, another one of those teams that have been sitting kind of down in the bottom of our leaderboards, could really use a big day here to try and start to turn things around.
Looks like it's going to be a hard cenote zone here to start off as well. It's going to move out to the back. So we haven't seen one of these zones for a hot minute, Q. It does look like Gen G Esports, who have been gifted the zone, in a pretty good spot here early on as well.
Not sure how to feel about you putting esports on the end of that. I think we all just call them Gen G down here in Apac South. But yeah, when you are gifted a zone, we've talked about it all season, Tony. When you're gifted a zone, you have to be able to capitalize. And looking like Legolas out there with the bow in hand. Asia is going to be able to find a little bit of something cooking here. Is now Gen G looking to get the ball rolling.
16 squads now still standing, and Kukoi going down as well. So it is a interesting start to the game. 4 squads only gone at the moment, with 16 still standing. Is pretty good going with round 2 underway. As we can see, Gen G just kind of sitting on the rock at the moment, and putting down damage as usual is Asia.
Honestly, I really love the spot that they're at here for Gen G. You can play wide, you can be able to really stretch out and be able to show a presence so no one helps, or should I say no one tries to push up into that high ground tier. You do have PXX relatively close. Of course, PXX will be out of the line of sight for Gen G, so they shouldn't really be seeing any fight down here on the southwestern side. That will be good news for PXX, as they'll kind of be able to just sit in the shadows for now. Meanwhile, other teams that are trying to find their way as far down south as possible, you do have TYK. We saw them earlier be able to find a nice team wipe. They're seeing if they can pick up a second here.
Go Gen G being aggressive once again. They do need to be careful. You kind of put yourself in the middle of two teams. Dexter with some beautiful shots, and it does look like that's going to be enough for Gen G to maybe get a little aggressive. You can see Asia getting the wrecking ball out. He needs to be careful. Dexter's moving back. We still have Ziki on that crypto. And it does look like Gen G now trying to take it slow. We will go and have a look. PXX, the team that is trying to help the cause as well, as they're moving in on the team that is stuck very close behind. That's VK Gaming.
VK Gaming in a tough spot here, but they should be able to at least get a reset for now. And as more teams continue to make their way, that means teams like the likes of PXX won't quite be able to extend to be able to peek on in. Dog Red will be out in that 16th position, a team that I do still feel like has potential to piece together a solid back half of the split. But man, a tough start here in game number 1. But TYK, they're getting cooking here. They've already got 2 team wipes, and we've only got 5 squads off the board.
6 now with Ubi just going out. So very tough start here for the boys. We'll go and have a look in a second and see how Gen G are still going. And well, in 20 seconds time, they're going to realize that they have zone still Q, and they'll be pretty happy with the position that they're in.
Yeah, I mean, there are enough teams that have pulled down this far to the southwest that they should, despite the fact that they don't technically have the ring knowledge, they should know that this is pulling down towards them. So they should just be able to continue to kind of low and slow, like a good roast, sit up here on this rock and continue to poke and prod away. You would really like to be able to upgrade those Evos up to purple, though, before the end game hecticness does pop off, but they're already well on their way.
2C1M sitting underneath them as well. We'll go and have a look at the zone one more time before we get into more teams rotating in. And well, game 1 so far slipped up to expectations for this group, and it's still 14 squads standing.
ECG's trying to find a spot to rotate on in. I'm guessing they must be on a trident the way that they are whipping around that far western side of the zone, trying to find just a little bit of real estate. But Gen G has the location of them, and oh, don't forget they do have that breach charge on that Hemlock as well if they happen to have that trident that does stop in their view. For now, though, they're just going to prioritize making sure that they can continue to hold on to the high ground. Doesn't look like anyone's pushing up towards them. Meanwhile, back towards Mill, it's Rendang trying to pick up some big KP, and it's Ronan pushing through the door, able to find a knock, but their teammates are going to have to clean things up.
Yeah, Basti does move back, and it does look like they will get the first on the Ronin. So all of a sudden, Rendang down to a duo. Autobots Esports, who were Control Alt Defeat, also down to a duo here as well. Gen G, though, looking to get into a fight with 2C1M, being a little bit too aggressive on that height. Now, all of a sudden, Gen G in a position to go out at 14th with not many KP as well.
See what they can make shake here. I mean, you do have Dexter that can maybe at least play out of sight, out of mind, and then be able to use that Valk ult to at least be able to relocate to a more safe spot since they are tucked away on the backside of the zone. But when you look back towards the note day, is Na, who will be able to get out back up onto their feet here before this ring starts closing on in. Gen G, though, off of our screen, does eventually end up falling, and that's kind of what I was talking about. They had picked up some KP, but still struggling, despite the fact they had a good endgame spot. They couldn't hold it, Stoney.
Gen G getting eliminated at 13th position with only 3 KP as well. So pretty tough start for Gen G, considering the zone they had. Didn't really need to be too aggressive either, Q. They could have just relaxed a little bit on the height, but it does look like they go out early. All of a sudden, Rendang now looking to rotate in. R9 in the hand. Raza gets put down. Ronan will need to try and get a rotate in. I don't like his chances here as he tries and hides behind the knockdown.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as far as for them, it does look like they will be getting pushed as well. It's QWQ that will push right on in, trying to clean things up, and Rendang will be out in that 11 spot. The question is, have you overextended? Because now it's TYK that is trying to push up into them. The only problem is they've got the high ground, Anakin. You've got to back down.
Yep. All of a sudden, QWQ holding their own on the height as well, trying to stay alive. TYK was the team that wanted to move in. They do move back, which is very smart because this next zone is a tough rotate in here for a lot of these teams on that northern side.
Be incredibly tough for the likes of Wolves, who are actually currently taking a fight with Mama Clubs off of our screen as far as for now, and it will be trying to push straight down on into him as No Name gets a little bit of opening damage, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to really turn this fight around, especially as Wen does fall as well. Crazy Kong will be the last one left alive. Will try and stick to be able to get the revive because Sakto is left in the 1v1, quickly turning into a 1v2.
Mama Clubs, the last one left standing is to Caustic, which is good. The traps will come out still, and they're going to try and get the altar up here. Out comes the Caustic ult, though, from Wolves, and see if they can try and get the reset here on No Name. And then all of a sudden, Team Wolves are in a pretty good spot, but this rotate in is going to get real tough here in a second.
Yeah, not only is the rotate going to get tough, but when they clean that up, they do have DCG in the opposite nut building waiting to clean up the third party. Meanwhile, VKG is inside of the zone, and they're trying to see if they can stay alive. They will be able to rotate back away and get some cover as they should be able to reset. PXX, meanwhile, they've been down in these caves all game long. They've had phenomenal position. They will need to rotate just a little bit to their south. They're in a decent spot as far as for now. Of course, they've also got that Kraber in hand. Weibo Gaming trying to use this high ground to see what they can make happen.
Mama Clubs now trying to stay alive. Don't like their chances. Weibo Gaming stays on the height, gets some more kills. Now all of a sudden Wolves Esports trying to find a spot. Crazy Kong, the last one standing for his crew, somehow getting away. And Axel's not even in the game yet. VK Gaming on the height as well. And this could be a very good start for the team that we were talking about earlier on. VK Gaming.
The problem is they're surrounded by so many squads. If they do wait where they're at, they're going to have teams rotating on their northern side. I really like this push. They're pushing these buildings. 2C1M is on the other side. This is an isolated 3v3. If you can push right on in, LQ Dud gets back up onto their feet. No, they don't actually. It has to stop, and now it's 2C1M in a 3v1, and this should be easy pickings and easy cleaning up, and they will take out VK Gaming.
2C1M looking real good at the moment, but here comes QWQ, so it seems like it's the Open League teams that are just having so much fun out here right now, and they're going to try and clean up 2C1M just like that. They're eliminated QWQ in a top 4 situation, and they have Godspot. It doesn't look like anyone is moving in. Relump DCG on the height, but now the chaos settles down. We have 4 squads left standing.
I remember DCG was the squad that took out Gen G, and it feels like that has helped build up some confidence for this squad, and they'll jump into the whip, and they'll look to rotate down to the south here relatively quick. You can also, of course, use that for a little bit of extra built-in cover if you do decide to use it. But right now it is 3 teams left standing, one of which was in the caves for all of this time. It's PXX, and while they haven't had very much fighting that they've had to take, they do have a Kraber that they can try and make shake.
And unlimited ammo as well here for PXX. But the tough job for them now, Q, is rotating into this next zone. They don't have EMP up their sleeve either, so it's not really going to help them here. They're going to have to rely on the ultra Qs to try and get themselves a little bit closer to zone, but I really don't like their chances. Let's go and have a look now on how they do it.
Yeah, as we're going to try and figure out which of these squads is going to end up trying to fight for a second. It looks like maybe PXX will quickly push into that building and see if maybe they can take things away from QWQ. The problem is it seems like they, I was going to say we're separated for just a moment. They have all now pushed into the building and might actually be okay with kind of splitting real estate here for a moment.
Kraber still in the hand as well for Jackie Chan, and we know Jackie Chan, he loves to give us some clips. So PXX all of a sudden go from a very tough spot queue to God spot in a matter of seconds.
And the only problem though now is if you are PXX, if this squad that is essentially under you right now decides to push up and takes this fight first, especially since you do have Jackie who has the alternate, looks like might be using that Q to push on up. You have DCG who can come in for a very clean and easy third party. So it feels like DCG in the winning spot as long as they can make sure that they don't overextend too quickly as the third party.
We're used to seeing DCG win the last game of the day. We're not used to seeing DCG start the day off with a win. This would be something huge for this team. So, as we can see, Jackie Chan looking down the eyes of the barrel with the Craver. Oh, it looks like 2C1M have, oh no, QWQ, sorry, have just moved in like psychos. They get down Jackie Chan, they get down one more. It should be an easy cleanup. All of a sudden, Relove DCG come in to try and finish this off, and there's only one man left standing. This should be an easy DC victory for game number 1. One man left standing. Relove DCG start us off on Storm Point with a banger.
Told you, man, DCG, after taking down Gen G, were able to carry over that confidence, and it just seemed like every team fight from there went their way. They were a team last week I was looking to really be able to turn things around heading down the home stretch of split number 1, and while maybe a match day a little bit late, they still have time to be able to rectify their season, and a win in game number 1 here in match day 6 is a great way to start, Stoney.
We're going to have a look at the match winners, and it is going to be DCG with a game 1 victory, and that is really good for the Rowie fans that are out here in Apac South. Game 1 victory for DCG. Something that we haven't seen for a while, Q. Like I said, we've seen a lot of last game victories, but we haven't seen many first game victories. Relove DCG with the win. QWQ came second with 16 kills on the board. PXX third, Wolves Esports fourth, and T2C1M rounding out the top 5. Well, we're going to have a look at the series overall, and that means that somehow QWQ have hit the front. Even though they came second, they get a 16 kill game for game number 1, Q. That is something that we probably didn't see coming here for game number 1.
No, I think actually in game number 1 here, they have put the same amount of points that they have put on the board as a collective through their other games. They've kind of been struggling thus far. They did win. You mentioned that they played through that open number 4. They won open 4 to be able to get into Pro League, but it just hasn't felt like they started piecing things together. Maybe this is enough for them to be able to build up some confidence, though, right? I mean, this is a squad that I feel like has potential. It is a younger team, of course, but I mean, man, talk about a way to really be able to set your best foot forward.
Go and have a look at what legend is getting banned here for game number 1. And, well, it's going to be Crypto out here for game 1, which we talked about it earlier with the boys at Gen G. They never used to really have to worry about legend bans until around game 5, game 6 last year. All of a sudden, they're losing legends pretty quick in their choice of legends, and it seems to be where they struggle now as well after this game.
Yeah, and you've got Crypto already off the board, and it feels like as the season has gone along, we've seen Maggie kind of move up to being banned quicker and quicker. Not sure if it'll be game 2 here, maybe game 3, but there's a good chance by the time that we switch over to E-District, most of their team composition will be gone. I think the other thing that is going to be interesting in Apac South in particular, we've seen this, I think, a couple of match days in a row now, where Alter is the second most picked legend in game number 1. Do they end up still somehow making it all the way to game number 6 like they did last week, somehow still always being that second or third most picked legend?
Go and have a look at our top 5 kills and damage leaders, and, well, Woozy's sitting on top with 7. Jack sitting second with 6. Rowie with 6. I think that's Shay or maybe JR with 5. Jackie Chan sitting there with 4. Our top 5 damage getters, well, Jack's leading the way with Was underneath him, Wen as well, Shayo and Imanan Low. And I think that is No Name, just coming up with some really good names for us to try and figure out what he is each week. We're going to have a look at the map scene, and, well, as we can see, that is a Relove DCG victory for game number 1.
Going to be intrigued to see how this image here, this graphic here fills out through the course of the day. Last week, Stoney, I think most of our winners were not only double-digit KP wins, but we saw a lot of high KP wins. So DCG already starting with a 12 KP banger there. Definitely off to a good start, but still 2 more chances for Stormpoint to see where things turn up. I'm going to be really intrigued to see who else is going to be able to step to the stage. You had mentioned DCG hadn't really been able to put together too many big games like this one here. Wonder to see if maybe some of those other teams that have kind of been lurking in the shadows can continue stepping up.
Well, so far, so good. We're going to have a look at the Stormpoint map so we can see exactly where QWQ and DCG had to rotate. And I mean, well, DCG couldn't be any further away from where that zone was for a game
QWQ
one
wasn't much
victory.
Closer.
No, they weren't.
Yeah,
Just a
QWQ
little
wasn't
bit.
much closer. I mean, everybody up in that top right did decent. I mean, honestly, give it up to them. I guess that kind of makes sense, though, why they were able to walk away with so much KP as well, right, Stoney? I mean, you had to walk through so many teams on the initial rotate in, and then obviously playing late game as well. So big ups to them, but man, watch out if we end up getting one of those zones that ends up towards that northeastern side. Imagine we get something that goes towards Lightning Rod or a Zeus Station, gives DCG a zone here in game number 2, would be crazy.
I feel like we haven't seen a team really take advantage of a zone when they get a zone. And for Gen G, it's a team that doesn't really have that style, so they've been forced to play that zone, that game. We know deep down it was a hard time for them not to jump into Trident and rotate around the whole north side of that zone, and that was probably something they really wanted to do, but they've been gifted that zone. They had the crypto in hand, so they knew that they could get their shield and their Evo harvesters up without really having to rotate too much. So Gen G now, without having that crypto in the game, this is where it gets interesting for that team, and this is where they have trouble. They have had trouble with after game number 1 when they do lose crypto. All of a sudden, this team it's not the team that we have seen.
Yeah, again, part of the reason I was really looking to see how they were going to be able to start off today for their 4th match day of the split so far, because they have definitely seemed like as these sessions go on, as the match day progresses, while they might not necessarily struggle as far as still finding position or finding KP, the big thing is still being able to find points when it comes to their placement points as well. It does look like, though, we've got all 60 players in here on the server for map number 2 as we head back to Storm Point. And again, keeping in mind crypto going to be off the board, we'll see some changes to the composition. I think what I will be intrigued to keep an eye on as these Legend Selects do officially start is Maggie the first one, or is Maggie the next one off the board? Because again, we've seen Maggie kind of progressively getting banned quicker and quicker throughout the day. Also, though, we have seen in this region Valkyrie getting picked a lot, seeing a lot of that early on the board as well.
Yeah, and Ultra as well. So, I mean, do you know what? It does look like maybe a Valkyrie ban here for game number 2. There is a lot of Valkyries out here. There is
I feel like Valkyrie has been replacing the Ultra ban, I feel like, in Apac South, because Valkyrie not really getting banned much. We're seeing in many other regions, but we are seeing it get banned. This is the 2nd week. Did it get banned 3 weeks ago when I was not here, Stoney? Do you remember?
Valkyrie did get banned, yes. I don't think the Valkyrie has been banned early, though. I think it was like a game 3 or game 4. I've just never seen it really like a game 2 ban with these teams. But, I mean, it makes sense why Valkyrie's being used here for game number 2. But also something that you're not really used to seeing early on with this region.
Yeah, or anywhere really. So we'll see as far as what that means moving forward. Again, of course, that does mean available here for now. And Gen G, once again, Stoney, not going to have to rotate too far, as it does look like we're going to be heading down towards Barometer. Good news for Mama Clubs. This means they also won't have to move too far away. It's usually a good POI when it comes to looting, so they will be able to really dig in. Should give them a chance to at least make sure that they're looted up wise. Not sure how they're going to be looking Evo wise moving forward, though, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But we saw that 2nd ring information coming across just as we switched POVs, and it was confirmed we are heading down south.
It is going to be a barometer zone here for game number 2. And, well, Mama Club's in zone here. And this is a team that has been pretty good so far throughout the splits. It is a team that we probably didn't really talk a lot about. They've been kind of really on the outskirts, but also just consistent enough to have their name talked about.
Yeah, it's in a sense where like Ubi has been like very good, consistently consistent. Mama Club's also been consistently consistent, just not to the same sense. Instead of being like in that top like 4 to 6, Mama Clubs has kind of consistently been around that like 7 to 11 range, which unfortunately, as far as when you look on the split, does put them at 20th. But they do only have 3 match days, so with a decent performance today, could still very well put themselves in the conversation when it comes to the bubble. One thing that you do got to give Mama Clubs really good credit for is when they put themselves in solid positions, they generally convert. In 50% of the games, they're able to get themselves into top 10s, and half of those, they've also been able to move into top 5. They just need to start finding ways to pick up more KP.
Squad still standing. It does look like DCG. They understand now they've got a long rotate on their hands once again, but it didn't bother them too much in game number 1. Q, I don't feel like it's really going to bother them too much here in game 2 either.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? If you felt comfortable taking those fights, might as well pick up some points along the way. And for them, we saw them at least being comfortable digging in as far as in their POI to make sure they were good to go. And now they'll take to the skies. It looks like they'll be comfortable doing the same sort of approach where we had seen last game, where they will, instead of quickly heading towards zone, they'll just continue to lurk around the outside and looking to maybe potentially take a fight where they're at. The same thing for Mama Clubs as well.
Is 6 Gaming, the team that got eliminated at 20th position in the last game, looking to rotate in towards command center at the moment. It does look like QWQ are above them, Q, and I mean, not a team you want to be underneath after the game 1 they just had.
Really not. They've been a team that has shown the ability, at least today, to really pop off. They seem hot. They seem like they're firing on all cylinders. And honestly, after a game like that, I wouldn't be surprised to see QWQ taking some early fights just to continue to heat check and try and continue to stay hot. Right now, though, there's a couple of squads around them up here at command centers that want to make sure that they're really not only making sure they're taking good fights, but they're going to want to make sure they're watching their 6 as well, because there's a couple of teams that are up in their direction.
Have to take their time with this rotate in. They are stuck on that northern side. The team close to them at the moment is VK Gaming. Now, QWQ, if they really wanted to, they could get Casa right now, but it does look like they're going to just play slow for the meanwhile. VK Gaming, though, they do have the blue shield on the Valkyrie, so we'll have a little bit of knowledge when they rotate in as well. So 20 squad's still standing. It does look like it is going to get tough here very quick for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is Barometer has a lot of like playable real estate, right? So even for some of our latecomers to the zone, they should still be able to find decent spots. This is one of those zones that you're all right being a little bit on the late rotate to, but for some of our teams like Ubi who have at least prioritize the rotate, they'll be in a more prime spot. I mean, it makes sense for Ubi to have been able to be one of the first ones here. They didn't have too far to go as far as coming in from pylon, so been able to find themselves a good spot for endgame.
Grape Soda looking to get into the bidden zone. The closest team to them is Kikoi, and well, this team here needs a pretty good set to get back into the swing of things. They've just been a team that's been consistently in Pro League, just haven't really done enough to have their names noticed as much as it probably deserves, Q, and it does look like they are going to rotate in here from Forbidden Zone into Barometer after hitting that player scan.
Well, it is worth noting, Kikoi had a pretty solid finish, I do believe, their last match day out. Definitely seemed like they've started to piece things together, but do agree, it feels like still haven't quite reached the potential that you would expect, especially with the caliber from this roster. Good news is they do rotate on their way on in. They'll get quite a bit of information of the lay of the land, as they do look like they'll be good for settling in this nut building. No one in the bridge next to them, so they'll be good to just kind of shut down and open up shop and at least for now, feel safe.
Seconds away from zone closing. Gen G in a spot that they like as well. No teams eliminated here, and what we said before the first ever B vs C happened, we said this lobby had potential to be full chaos. Well, round one has closed, Q, and we have 20 squads still standing.
I love it. I love packed end games. Again, where we're heading here, Barometer has plenty of real estate for so many teams, but it doesn't look like we'll have a full 20, as we do have VK Gaming taking a fight over here on the northern side of our zone here, and that is TYK, who sits on the other side. VK Gaming have been able to get back up to a full 3. Right now, sitting inside of the bubble. TYK looks like they're trying to tuck away to safety.
Yeah, they will have to get the reset on Sato, and it does look like they will. So 20 squads left. The dream is still alive. Was some pretty good quality games here for game number 2. Go back and have a look at this zone and see where it is pulling, just to see if it's doing anything crazy. But at the moment, we're getting some familiar zones here for games 1 and 2.
No, I'm trying to actually think, looking at this zone, I think, is this the one that pulls towards where Black Hole's at on that small little island? Like just on the right side of that little bridge? I think this might be the one that heads that direction, which means they'd have a really, really good read. I know a lot of people are still trying to move more towards those buildings in the far south, but I think it might be pulling towards that small little island there. Meanwhile, though, not trying to continue to stay on their feet. We had thought that earlier when we tuned into that fight over on the northern side, we were about to lose our first team, but still not the case. This next zone going to be closing in here relatively soon, and still 60 players standing, Stoney.
Mama Club set up. Oh, they do get one down though. Low key goes down. This doesn't look good for the boys, and Grape Soda will be eliminated. So Grape Soda going into game number 3, only 1 kill. And well, this is the advantage of having a Watson in a zone like this. You can hold something for as long as they are right now and get some early KP. Well, as I say that, Kukoi do take advantage of the low ground, as it looks like Mama Clubs didn't really have enough time to set it back up.
Also wanted to point out the awareness from Tracy there. He's like, hey, you know what? At some point, you're going to finish this revive. Your shield's going to go down. And I've got a whole alternator clip that's just going to take both y'all out, and was able to take that first team off of the board. It does seem like, though, Kukoi has been able to completely take over this bottom floor, and at least for now, will continue to coexist. I know in the past we have said that coexist is in, I think in the past has been a bad word at Apac South. It does feel like teams, though, starting to be a little bit more comfortable with it, Sony.
Yeah, it seems to have changed a little bit. It seems like we are kind of letting teams play the top part or the lower part, with teams really not being too aggressive, or over aggressive, I should say, in the rotate to try and take control of that house. At the moment, it does look like Yubi are very close by to Edward Gaming. Now, this is one place I absolutely hate when teams rotate, because I have not seen a team really ever survive it here.
No, but like, what are you hoping to survive here with? Like the Watson pylon, maybe? But like, once teams start closing on in, well, you're going to be able to survive. For now, though, trying to stick at least to get back up to a 2, but Team Ubi will continue to send, whether it's Arc Stars or we even see gas getting sent that way as well. However, they haven't gotten cleaned up. It feels like, at least for now, weathering the storm.
Yeah, and they're going to stay alive for now. The drill, though, does come out, so I don't know how long that pylon will be standing there. And it's just going to be Team Ubi annoying them for a while. We're going to have a look at Fizz 6 as Fizz 6 is set up in zone. And as we can see, zone 3 is underway. We have 19 squads still standing here for game number 2. And you're right, Q, it does pull back towards that island where Black Hole and Edward Gaming are standing. Now, if Edward Gaming can stay alive, all of a sudden the position that they're in is not a bad spot.
I feel like I want to give the the camera one of those stares that Greek gave at Champs when it was that awkward pull up towards Pylon. But yeah, no, good call as far as for Black Hole. We'll see if they can hold off for now. Meanwhile, VK Gaming starting to move their way down south and see if they can stay alive and stay safe. It looks like they lost one. Meanwhile, Mama Clubs trying to stay on their feet as Tracy Dam will be able to get back up to the top floor and stay alive for now.
19 squads still standing, as we can see a lot of teams figuring out what their next play is. And well, for TYK, their play is to get rid of Wolves Esports on the south side of zone, and that is what they will do. As we can see, TYK, they have a fair bit of time to worry about what they're going to do next, but Weibo Gaming, the closest team to the lads with this rotate in. Well, 18 squads left standing, 15 seconds till round 3 starts to close.
And this is where things will start to get a little hectic. While we do have a lot of teams that are still alive, we will have a few more teams that will continue to close on in, and those last few spots do start to get occupied. These teams here are going to want to start taking one another out, start at least making sure they will feel safe once they do have to start rotating from the nooks and crannies that they currently are in. Fizz 6 Gaming, for now, continue to be able to stay up onto their feet. Witness me getting reset by that pylon, but they're eventually going to have to fight their way out.
Mama Club still on the height, really not having to worry too much about life at the moment. Genji Esports, though, they're getting some KP, and it looks like that is Team Nah or 2C1M. No, it is 2C1M. Apparently, that is the team closest to Genji. Trying to figure this out right now as they're alive right on the northern building here of this zone.
These teams that are on the northern side of the zone will be happy because, of course, we do have that ring knowledge knowing where this zone is heading, but there are still teams that have really piled in down kind of where we had last sat on board with Kikoyat. Those squads will have to wrap up those fights and then move to this northern side of the zone off towards the likes of Genji, which is why it's going to be important that you at least be able to hold off, be able to get a reset, and then use that vertical position to be able to pick up some points. Meanwhile, Weibo is going to have to fight through quite a few teams to be able to rotate towards their east.
15 squads still alive. Mama Club's still in the main building. Kikoi underneath them. 15 squads for a round 4, though. Q in the store point. Something we're not used to.
Yeah, the problem though is, you know, as much as that we had talked earlier about for Barometer being a POI that has a lot of, you know, levels and a lot of good points to be able to play and cover, that's not going to be the case once this ring closes. A lot of these teams down on this southwestern side realize that teams like Dog Red, who now have to move with a sense of urgency. The problem is they are behind when it comes to the shields department. Quick push through here by Gopcap's going to be able to find the down onto one. Backside looking for the knock onto the Bangalore, not quite going to find it, and Fizz 6 Gaming takes Dog Red out of there.
Fizz 6 Gaming now needing to try and get the reset here. Can they get it? I don't like their chances. It does look like Autobots, though, are going to move out of this situation. So all of a sudden, 14 squads still standing. Fizz 6, though, in a very tough position to get into zone. PXX getting eliminated after a really good game, number 1. And all of a sudden, we have 13 squads left standing, and I feel like we're going to see a lot of teams get out here with not much real estate left to play.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much coverage once this zone fully closes in, as Kikoi now also out in 13th. We had said on board earlier we weren't sure if EDG was going to be able to play from this position on the bridge, and they have been able to do a good job of sustaining for now. The question is, will they be able to do so as teams continue to rotate in? Mama Clubs will be able to at least get the pylon down, should be able to, no, won't help them reset as Black Hole hits the go, but it's a full send here as Easty turns the corner, but the problem is Durr down, XX almost down as well. Black Hole might have got caught overextending here, Stoney.
Ooh, Easty now needing to move in. One man left standing. Clean it up. Mama Clubs go out. 7 squads left standing. We're going to have a look. Gen G now trying to play the other side of the bridge. They have walked in from that northern side, but now they have their hands full. This is Edward Gaming looking to bounce back after a very bad start to game number 1. They have a good spot on the height, on top of Gen G, and I don't like Gen G's chances of staying alive in this situation. As you can see, the shots coming out from across the way for Columbus. And they might be able to get the cleanup on Gen G now and make it down to 6 squads. And just like that, Gen G get eliminated.
That is crazy. EDG somehow making the magic happen up on this northwestern side of the zone, and I think should be able to get a full reset. Rendang now trying to close in from their southwestern location here. They do have to get past Fizz 6, but it is only a solo for Fizz 6, so Witness Me will be trying to play out of sight and out of mind. It looks like Ronin might have the idea of rotating towards this western side where they have VKG right in their sights.
BKG still standing, looking to get close to the action. QQ needs to be careful. Was getting a little bit comfortable there with the push. The God Nades coming in, and as we know, there's a team on their backside. They kind of caught in a hard place right now. They need that Gibby bubble back ASAP for a Valk ult maybe. Or maybe they'll use the Newcastle Q instead. But this is going to be an interesting time here for VK Gaming.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Rendang hasn't pushed it on the backside of this fight. We did see one player looking that direction, but unfortunately, you try to take to the sky, that gets denied. And now VKG in between a rock and a hard place. Casa might be able to get back onto the feet thanks to LQ Dud, but they will get pushed and they'll get taken out. And now it's Rendang on the hunt.
Rendang looking to move in. We have the Kraber in the hand for Basti. 3 squads now standing. Can Basti give us some clips for game number 2? 2 squads left standing. It's Rendang versus Black Hole, and down goes one Easty, getting his head taken off. Can we get another one here from Basti to finish off game number 2? It's a 2v2 situation. The boys don't need to overcommit. Basti does roll back just a little bit here. Ronan now waiting for that shield cell to come off, but it's going to be a 2v1 situation, and Rendang take game number 2 for B vs C.
This is huge for Rendang, the Indonesian trio that had kind of been sitting in the back edge of that bubble, came in today in that 16th spot. They did finish 6th last time that this lobby was out. I mean, you've got the experience of Lahim and Bastion. We were wondering when they were going to start getting cooking. Here with Ronan, maybe this is it. Game number 2 win, and if they can have a solid finish in their 4th match day, they still have a very good chance of being able to qualify for Landstone.
Go and have a look at the match winners here for game number 2, and it's going to be a Rendang victory with 8 kills. Basti getting the job done there with a nice entry down with the Kraber. And well, Lahim did his part as well, Q, with the 2.2k damage. We'll go and have a look at the match summary, and well, it was an interesting game. We saw VK Gaming once again make it towards that top 5 situation, but just not able to get into a position to win it. Edward Gaming getting 4th, Fizz 6th, 3rd, Black Hole 2nd, and Rendang 1st. We'll have a look at the series overall, and well, QWQ, DCG, Rendang, Black Hole, and Edward Gaming will be in the top 5. And I mean, from the top 4 to the 1st place, there's only 5 points difference.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 2 games, or should I say the first 2 games, your top 2 teams have kind of been point sponges. So that allows for 5th through essentially 14th to look the way that it does. But one thing that I wanted to point out, Stoney, you had mentioned how a lot of our heavy hitters are in this lobby. I think one thing that at least right now our scoreboard has shown is how much that gap between what used to be the top of the region and the rest is really closed, because right now your top 5 are all teams right now that technically sit outside of land contention. Quite a few of our open teams as well. A lot of talent here in Apac South.
And have a look at the legend ban, and it is going to be a Valkyrie ban here for game number 2. So we have no more Valkyrie moving forward for these games, and well, that's 2 recon legends getting banned here for Storm Point to start off today. And well, probably something we're not too used to seeing here in Apac South. We're going to have a look at the top 5 damage and kill leaders after 2 games. And, well, looks like Woozy is going to lead the way with 7 still. Jack sitting 6. You got second with 6. I think that's Shayo sitting third with 6. DCG, Rowie with 6. And Ronan with 5 as well. We'll go have a look at the damage. And, well, Wen with 3k. Cutest Tur with 2.7. JR with 2.7. Lahim with 2.6. And Normal with 2.5. And, well, we have a different winner here as well on Storm Point for Game 2.
Wanted to point out, though, or should I say not point out, but worth noting that in our both kills and damage, man, the run in the top 5, super, super close, and you love to see it. And now only one more run here on to Storm Point, Stoney. Before we do move over to E District, that does generally give us even more of those really cluttered and chaotic end games. And be curious to see where we're off to when it comes to this end zone here for game number 3. We've had 2 more southern zones. Do we maybe bless up some of the squads up in that northeastern side of the likes of EDG, DCG or VKG, some teams who have already had some decent starts, despite the fact that they've had long rotates towards those first 2 ends?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's going to be tough. Fizz 6 even did pretty good that game. I think they came third in that game, and they're in the northern side of zone as well over at Wall. So there's going to be an interesting game number 3, and, well, we're not too far away from getting into the action as well. Chat.
Hey, Stoney, can you do me a favor?
I'm here.
I want to bring up one point just to bring back to what we were talking about heading into the day. Can you bring up the overall standings for me real quick?
I got you.
We had talked about the importance of Gen G getting a good start today, right? And again, they are still for them getting into the to land. They'll do what they do best at land when they get there. But I think when you talk about a team that wants to show a level of dominance regionally, we've generally seen them struggle in the back half of these match days. So to currently be sitting down at just 9 points, I do gotta say, has me a little concerned. And the reason being, we've had 2 southern zones, not just southern zones, Stoney, 2 southwestern zones. We had one that went literally to the POI that they were dropping at, and then one right next to them. We usually talk about that you need to be able to capitalize when you've been given zone. Twice they have been given, twice they've failed to be able to capitalize. And a match day that we talked about, they need a strong first half.
Yeah, it's going to be a interesting set of games for the boys. They haven't had much luck. But like we have said in the past as well, Q, they always seem to finish in that top 8, top 9 position of this lobbies. And it's because they have that one game where it's a win, but it's with 15 kills, and all of a sudden they got 27 points and they're back into the talking point. At the moment, though, it's scary because there's teams that we have seen come through openly that are doing a lot better than what Gen G, and consistently as well. And that's what's scary here for our split one of Apac South. We are very close to getting into game number 3. Guys, make sure to stick around in between game 3 and game 4. We have an amazing announcement to bring to you guys in that break. There's a tournament coming your way that has some pretty amazing teams here. And I feel like a lot of people will be very, very excited to see that tournament. I know I'm going to be very excited to cast it. I know you will be as well, Q. Some of the biggest hitters that we'll probably ever be in the lobby with as well. So game number 3, not too far away, hopefully. Does look like we have maybe one DC here for game number 3. But other than that, we are very thankful to everyone that is here today and showing our thanks. Q, what is there that they can win in chat?
And get yourself some free Apex coins, baby. If it's free for me, it's for me, baby. You go ahead and use ! Apac South in chat. That way you can be entered on in for that. Now that game number 2 is done and dusted, as Stoney had mentioned, we're getting ready for game number 3. I think we're still waiting for that last one to get in here. Let's see if they made their way on in.
Let's go.
Let's go. All 60 players on in. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Legend Select now that we do have 2 of those legends off the board. Again, no Crypto, and surprisingly enough, no Valkyrie. I'm sure we'll see some other rotation legends coming in. Already seeing a Wraith on the board. Also going to be probably seeing some more Seers coming into play as well. But ain't no more time to talk about it. It is indeed time to be about it. Let's go ahead and take to the skies, and let's get down and do what it do for map number 3.
Well, you might be gifted your North Zone here, but we also have a good chance of this going towards Mill, which means Gen G have another zone right next to them or in front of them here for game number 3. This is our last one as well on Storm Point before we head over to E District to finish off our last game day or B versus C before we have the 3-week break. We're just waiting right now to see where this zone is pulling, and hopefully it's heading to Northpat.
2-week break, right? Because the 3rd week we're back playing, right? Okay, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, does look like we are not going to be going too far from Gen G, but it is a little bit more of a northern zone. It is towards a team, one of our heavy hitters that has been relatively quiet on the day, is Wolves over there at Down Beast. Have been pretty silent, so we'll see if they'll be able to take advantage of things, because they currently have been averaging the most points on Storm Point and the best placement here on this map. So a team that generally does pretty good. Let's see if they can capitalize.
No, definitely a 3-week break. So we have next week, no games. The weekend after that, we have the tournament. And then the weekend after that is our back-to-back blocks once again for Apac South. I think once we come back, there is only 3 weekends of games. So
yeah, with the back-to-back, the single game, and then regionals, right?
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting time here for these next month of Apac South. We'll go and have a look at Ubi, as it looks like they're rotating through Forbidden Zone, and the closest team to them is Weibo, already with the blue shields as well, as it looks like they're maybe making their way towards that Mill Bean area also.
A lot of teams are trying to quickly make their way up towards that northwestern side, and understandably so. There's only so many, I guess you can say, prioritized spots up in that Down Beast area where you really feel comfortable. And you can also realize that with Wolves having landed there, will more than likely have claimed that top spot there on the actual Beast itself. Meanwhile, there for teams like Weibo Gaming, they had to rotate a decent ways away. They were coming in from Jurassic. What's interesting, though, is they are one of our teams, as you can notice, that had still been the furthest that still had to rotate. So it took a little bit longer. Meanwhile, the likes of Gen G, they rotated from Cenote. They're already here at Mill. They're trying to see if there's anyone in their vicinity.
They will get some map knowledge, as we can see. A lot of teams moving towards that Down Beast area here for game 3. So feels like this is definitely the zone you need to get to early, Q, to actually have a good game at.
I definitely feel like this is one of those where you have to, right? And what team that we have on our screen right now is a team that I have felt like week after week, I keep kind of waiting to pop off, which is Dog Red, right? When you've got the duo from 5 Fears of Papa Fief and Gop Gap along with Kilopause, you would have expected them to start finding a way to cook, but they just haven't quite yet. But here's Grape Soda trying to see if they can get their days started. They've only been able to pick up 1 point thus far, and they're on the hunt for now.
I think the biggest thing to come out of the Dog Red situation and them getting rid of a Flow is how good Flow has been for Orchard. They've swapped,
true though.
They've swapped 1 player each, those teams, and there is a massive difference between those 2 teams, and it is all from 1 player. So I think that's where Flow deserves the credit as much as anyone here for Split 1 so far, because Team Orchid have been insane, and that has just been from 1 change.
They had that really big match day win, 2 match days ago as well. So definitely a good nod to them. And again, we do still have time for Dog Red to get cooking, but they're starting to run out of it very quickly. Even here today, currently sitting down in that 18th position. Wolves, we mentioned earlier, we're probably going to prioritize this spot up here on the Beast, and this is exactly what they have been able to do. You've got No Name, who've got the breach charge to maybe find an opening for them. Unfortunately, has already used it. Otherwise, could have used it on the solo that had gotten caught out down in these buildings, the little pill bottles.
He's put down a lot of damage right now, No Name. Does look like the teams that are underneath are kind of getting into a lot of action, and that is going to be Autobots moving in and cleaning up Ubi. So Ubi is out at 20th position. And like I said, when I say I want a team to do good, I seem to just be putting the worst curse on them here early on.
You know, I feel like a lot of duos in Apex, there's like one person who has like the really bad juju. You know, like thinking about like the Apex, the podcast, it's like Wyatt, who's like the all-time curse. I think you're our curse here in Apac South, I hate to say.
I'll take it. All right, I'll take it.
Autobots in a tough spot, though. They've lost one. It looks like the remaining duo are going to have to tuck away from the building that they were in, which is tough because so many teams have already rotated on in. I don't know if they're going to be able to find themselves safety, although the overhead map that I've got on my screen actually looks like they might have been able to get back to their feet and are in the opposite building, still alive. Meanwhile, Nah is on the bottom side of Down Beast. They are underneath Wolves, so they do have, I guess, the extra defense of knowing that one of the most dangerous teams is above them and will be keeping teams away. But you had saw they had 2 white tees. They don't have much defense to their names.
They do not right now. Black Hole in a very tough spot to hold, especially with no Newcastle or Gibby in their hand as well. It does look like they're going to rotate towards that zone, and they're using a Parfy, Watson, Mad Maggie here for game number 3. So very interesting legend composition here for the lads of Black Hole. They will find themselves a spot they like, and right next door is Gen G.
Might be a spot they like. Their neighbors, though, probably not the neighbors that they would like, because Gen G surely going to be quite hungry. Currently sitting down in that 15th spot, only 9 points. This time around, though, since they didn't necessarily get zone, it does mean that they're in a position that they prefer more Stony, which is being on more of the edge of zone as a fighting team. So maybe a chance for them to pop off here in game number 3. When we talk about fighting, Mama Clubs is in a fight on the far western side. Does look like they were able to get their third back up onto their feet. Kakoi will also be able to keep themselves standing as well.
Here we go. Wolves Esports moving in. No Name going to get rid of TYK. TYK, you get eliminated. We now have 18 squads left standing. And just like that, I'll be pretty happy with some KP early on. Gen G looking to get into some action as well. They seem to be just getting a couple of downs here on Black Hole. But it might just be Black Hole maybe trying to upgrade their shields. Nico, for now, trying to hold it down. Couldn't hit a shot. Rendang get the cleanup here on Grape Soda as well. And they're going to go into game number 4 Q with only 3 points.
It's going to be a tough position to be in coming down the home stretch. Also a tough spot to be in. Still having so far to rotate here and having teams that are going to be potentially in front of you keeping you out. Rendang, good news is they'll have time to be able to get a full reset. But when they make their way towards the likes of Mill, there are currently teams like PXX that are over there that could possibly be keeping them away from Down Beast and even further off towards the northwest. So we'll see if they can eventually make their way on in. Meanwhile, though, actually off at Down Beast, it's still Wolves Esports up on the top, continuing to play wide. Part of that is the benefit of the Watson fences, which they do have in their composition. Also, the good news for them is they will have that pylon, which will allow for them to keep ordinances at bay. No, sky nades to knock this squad down at all. They can feel safe for now.
In a pretty good spot. We're going to have a look at this zone actually and see where this next zone is going, because they will give a lot of answers for these teams. And well, the teams that have decided to play down here in a second are going to realize why 16 other teams are playing in here at the moment. Down Beast is going to be the place to be here for game number 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this actually pulls to the far side of the beast there, or maybe to those like little clutter of buildings where Fizz 6 and Autobots are currently sitting. We'll have to wait and see, but for now it's PXX, who we had mentioned earlier, was sitting at the mill. Well, it is 2C1M that they're in a fight with. Out here in this direction, it looks like 2C1M looking to get aggressive with it. They know that they've already been able to find a knock and pushing right on through. Longbow in here for Kongrong, and it looks like they're able to find another one.
G-God rotating in. Oh, there's only one man left standing, and PXX are going to get eliminated. Well done, 2C1M, and they are looking pretty good here, Q, in these first lot of games. Only on 13 points, but they're sitting in a 7th position at the moment in these Storm Point games. We'll go and have a look, as it looks like Fizz 6 Gaming still trying to hold down zone, and the closest team to them, well, Autobots Esports, who used to be Control Alt Defeat, trying to hold one of the hardest little buildings to hold, I feel, in Down Beast.
Yeah, this is a hard building to hold down here for Autobots, but again, I actually think that this goes towards that almost like the little entryway for the fence line between these two buildings. So if Autobots can hold this spot, it is a primo position. So the good news, again, for this team, just like when we were talking about on top of the Down Beast, you do have that Watson pylon to at least be able to keep those nades and things at bay. You can play a little bit wider as far as with the fences as well. The problem, though, since Autobots was able to rotate here quickly, you can see in their shields department, they do still have two teams sitting with those blue shields. 2C1M, while they might have been doing all right over here at the mill, it's Rendang who are now looking to push in and clean them up.
Yeah, Rendang, who won the last game. Now the last one left standing is going to be Basti. I don't like his chances.
Oh, no.
2C1M clean up Rendang as they're doing a little bit of ring around the rosy action there. Waiting for the Q to come back is G-God. They're going to use that portal to get away as well. And all of a sudden, what a reset by the boys of 2C1M as they now have to try and hold the push off here from QWQ.
Yeah, I was really worried about the third party coming in from QWQ, but they were able to at least keep up on their feet. And it seems like, for the most part, have been able to reset. It's only G-God that is sitting relatively low, as now it is QWQ who's coming knocking at that door. Nice shots here sent through. Maggie Ball also sent to be able to keep this squad at bay. Is that enough time to be able to get the bats off? That's the question. G-God does fall. The drill sent out to apply a little bit more pressure, but I don't think it's going to be enough here, Stoney.
Down goes one. Feng Chun just needs to hold on. Does some of the entry damage. He needs some help. Down goes Kurong. It is now a 1v1 situation. The fences comes out, and this is going to be tough for all these teams right now, Q, because they're going to get eliminated no matter what because of this zone. And just like that, 2C1M go down. QWQ might make it in just by... yeah, a little bit of help. As we can see, Dog Red, the team that you wanted to have a very good game here, still alive in a top 12 situation and looking pretty good.
Looking pretty solid where they're at, but they do have to make sure that they can stay alive. DCG rotating their way on in, and I don't think they're going to make it very much further, as it will be EDG that takes them out. The problem, though, for EDG is it does look like they will have to play the rest of this thing out as a solo here for now. I mean, the good news is there's not very many other people out on this northeastern side. Maybe you can grab the banners if there's a Moby, but once that revive comes in, that will give people the green light to send on to them. Meanwhile, there are these, other 10 squads at Down Beast vying for position.
Dog Red trying to get that solo, I'm pretty sure, from QWQ, and well, they just need to play it slow at the moment because it does look like this zone is pulling to the backside of Down Base. We'll go and have a look at Wolves Esports, and this is a team that hasn't had to move at all, Q, and they have 4 kills as well while sitting on the Beast itself.
Well, Wolves had a relatively quiet day through games 1 and 2. We saw that this zone was going to be pulling up in their direction, and we wondered if they would be able to capitalize. They've now put themselves into a top 10 position, and they are good about being able to turn those top 10s into top 5s, about 2/3 of them being able to do just that. But it feels like they're going to need more than that here, Stoney. If they're going to really want to be able to turn around this match day, they're going to need to be able to continue to pile on some KP. Let's see if they can do just that.
I think the best thing for Wolves is that they had a really good start in their first 2 match days. So it's really, they're kind of in that safe spot where Gen G haven't had a very good start.
That's fair.
You know, Wolves have kind of been that team that has a little bit of wiggle room. They have a little bit of, you know, they can have one bad day. Gen G, they've just been that consistent team at the moment, in between that 6 to 10 mark, but it's not enough points. It's enough points to get them into regionals, but it's not enough to keep and cement their spot for champs.
Yeah, I think the other thing too that like you and I were talking about, we know that for these teams, especially of the likes of Gen G, they don't just want to be able to compete regionally. They know that they have to be able to dominate regionally if they want to have a chance to be able to really contend internationally. So for teams like Gen G, they do need to lock in here today. Dog Red will push into the bottom of down B, see if they can get that Gen down, and they will eventually be able to do so. But both players sitting relatively low. Normal pushes down a couple of shots of the shot into the body to be able to get the shields low. Now we'll be able to clean things up here with the big shots.
Interesting play by Dog Red. They had no idea who was inside the down base, but they still queued inside down base. So very interesting push by the boys. Gen G Esports getting eliminated at 8th position. They are going to go into game number 4 with 14 points on the board.
About to be in here, Autobot. Who's this has pushing into him? It's Fizz6, who have been relatively quiet. You want to try and clean things up quick, fast, and in a hurry, as you will need to continue to move off towards the west. It will be Autobots who are now out, but will you be able to get a reset? It does look like they're getting pushed with a third party.
Witness me, maybe go. Oh no!
Oh
no! Oh no, that is so unlucky.
Oh, the Watson fences.
Can he get away? No, he won't. That is so I think he thought it was going to the top floor where he is. I don't think he was expecting it to pull to the height where Wolves were. But witness me going to get res. As we can see, now down to a solo, and it is going to be Avisan looking to try and clean this up here for Fizz6. As they know there's only one man left standing, and Na's going to be eliminated. Fizz6 in a really good position, and this is 2 back-to-back games, Q, for Fizz6. Doing well in a top 5 situation.
And they're looking really solid. See if they can convert this top 5 into a top 3. They will be one of the last teams that does rotate. They do still have a squad that is right on top of them. That is Wolves, of course, but they will have to make their way on in with the other couple of teams looking off in their direction. The good news for them is the team that is in this building in front of them is Kukoi, looking the opposite way, but it is still Wolves that is on their 6.
Fizz6 now down to a solo. All of a sudden, this is going to be the move-in decision for the boys. Oh my god. No Name is disgusting. He gets down VKG. Casa all of a sudden now VKG on the back foot, and it is just because of the man right here, and that is No Name. He's moving in, trying to clean up VKG himself. The Newcastle trying to get the res. That's some pretty good nades coming out. But it does, I think, get killed. Yeah, it does. But just like this, No Name, can he 1v3? Where's Crazy Kong? Please help me, says No Name here with 4 squads left.
And Crazy Kong at least get one back up onto their feet. It does look like it is going to be the case. It will be VK Gaming that is also still left as a 2, eventually taken out by Mama Clubs. There is still Silly Steps is lurking in the shadows somewhere for Fizz6 Gaming. Can they at least stay alive long enough for Wolves to be removed and to secure a top 2? Mama Clubs, I think, realizes as far as the body count that there's a solo somewhere, and yeah, they have been able to point them out. Tracy Dam able to take them down, and now in a 3v2, they just have to wrap things up here.
Beautiful shots coming out, sending it. Mama Clubs take game number 3, and our last one on Storm Point here in B vs C. But what a game for Mama Clubs.
Well, this team, I feel like, has been a feast or famine squad when it comes to their games. Like, they've been consistent through their series, but it feels like they have games like this, well, they haven't necessarily won a lot of games, but have had a lot of like bigger games, a lot of decent top fives, or they take fights early and they go out early. So good to see them pick up some big points here, especially because they are sitting towards the edge of that bubble. They are another one of those teams that really needs a solid day today, still need to keep themselves in that conversation. And a 10 KP win here in game number 3, definitely a good way to do so.
Yes, it is. We'll go and have a look at the match summary. And, well, it is going to be Mama Clubs with a 10-kill win and 22 points for game number 3. Wolves Esports get second, Fizz6 Gaming third, VK Gaming fourth, and Kukui rounding out our top 5. We'll go and have a look at the series overall. And, well, QWQ are going to lead the way here going into game number 4. It is so close, Q. From 8th to 1st, it is only a 9-point difference. And I think that's the best thing for Gen G. They're only 15 points away from first spot. They only need a Gen G victory all of a sudden they're in the lead. So it is anyone's game really at the moment as QWQ are leading the way after the first 3. We'll go and have a look at what legend is getting banned going into E District. And, well, Mad Maggie's not going to be there for this next lot of 3. Guess who's still going to be standing for the E District games? And that is going to be Alter.
I told you after I saw Alter sneak by in game number 1 as the second most pick. And now here in game number 3, second most pick. But watch, we're going to get all the way to map number 6 and still somehow Alter is going to be there. Because I have a feeling as we go to E District, we're going to start seeing more of our defensive legends coming off of the board, especially now that Mad Maggie is going to be taken off here. Don't be surprised if in the next 3 games you see the likes of Watson, Gibby, and Newcastle being banned here.
Yeah, so 2 recons, 1 assault. Mad Maggie is out here moving forward. We might see a little bit more Newcastle and Gibbies coming out here as well in E District. That will be interesting. Even maybe some more Wraiths as well here for our next 3. We'll have a look at our top 5 kills and damage leaders after the first lot of Storm Point games. And, well, Tracy Dam leading the way with 9 kills. We got Woozy sitting 2nd, Jack sitting 3rd, and Ronan 4th, and Shayo rounding out the top 6. And in damage, well, No Name has made his way to the top with his partner in crime, Wen. They both have 5, 6, and 5, 6 each. Cutest Tur with 4-2, Mama Tracy Dam with 3-3, and Laheen with 3-2. And, well, our Storm Point winners, we had 3 different winners for those games, Q. And, well, DCG, Rendang, and Mama Clubs were the teams to get it done.
Yeah, decent blend of different talent here. I think, and also worth noting, some of those teams that were more towards the back end of the bubble. Not some usual suspect, but some teams that definitely are worth getting their name recognized here in Apac South. And again, thanks to the fact that no one's had huge dubs, it has allowed for that overall leaderboard to look pretty darn close as we get prepared to go to E District. I don't think you could have asked for much more on the day here, Stoney.
No, not much at all. Well, chat, it is time to announce what is coming. And, well, Q, I guess we should just maybe show the video instead. But I can tell you what, it is about time that we finally have, well, a Battle of Apac.
Wolves still have an opportunity. There's only one member left from Sentinels. They don't do it! It ends here! Beacon Gaming! They take the top! That's a Wolf team. 3 squads left.
They told me not to jump on. Yeah, I feel like I often. No Liam money gone short.
Well, it doesn't get any more exciting than that for us, Q. On the 16th of May, we're going to have a Battle of APAC. 10 teams from the APAC North, 10 from APAC South, 2 regions, 1 winner, and it's going to be a match point tournament.
Oh, should be a banger. A stacked lobby of 20 of the APAC's best. When you talk about APAC North and APAC South, you can see the roster of teams that are on your screen now, and I know I am most certainly looking forward to it. So while there may be a break in ALGS action, there is not going to be a break in Apex action here in APAC South. Get excited.
Man, this is going to be so bloody good. I cannot wait to be in the lobby with some of the most amazing players that we have out here. I mean, you got Nosy Fox, Zeta Division, Rejects, Unlimit coming over from APAC North, and then we have APAC South. We got RRQ who are starting to find their rhythm. Wolves, Soul, Gen G, VKG. Oh, I'm very excited for this lobby, and I mean, well, it's not too far away as well. May 16th, make sure you guys get here for the action. Well, we appreciate you guys sticking around. We're going to go ahead with a BRB before we get back. There is some coins for you guys to win in the chat. APAC South is the code word. So if you want those coins, type that into the chat for your chance to win 4,350. X coins here. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. We'll see you back here for game number 4 just around the corner.
Right now, Doom's the last one left alive. Versus Metro in a 1v1. Looking to make the play here is Dooms with the R99 in hand. Should be able to at least get the bat. That's going to be the good news here. Takes the stick. Oh, imagine if you can hit the Kraber shot, finds it. Oh, it's a big opening with the Kraber. Pushes right through with the R99. Can RRQ at least solidify a second place? I believe this is a 2v1. Now a 1v1. Pricey left alive. Havoc look to play cleanup. And here they come on in. They are the custodians of the lobby. As it's now a 3v1. The Sparrow trying to play around of the triple take. No, hold on. Havoc absolutely insane. The 1v3 to clutch it out. There is no way.
Is one of these guys on stream? Wait, Pancakes dying?
In the ring, but just on the edge of it. But they are currently taking
Jackie
a
Chan.
fight.
Please.
And Jackie Chan gonna be the last one left alive.
Yeah.
On back and is trying to reset on their own. So now Jackie Chan.
Wait, Jackie Chan grief. 1v3 grief.
Push this to try and take these two out while they are killable. And Jackie.
Oh my God! Jackie Chan!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for game number 4. And then we are heading to E District for these games, Q. And, well, it's going to be exciting because there's a lot of legends out here that can change an E District game. Seer, Alter, Wraith. We got a lot of legends out here. And all of a sudden, this is where it gets a little bit interesting for teams like Gen G, Wolves Esports, BKG as well. They're very quiet at the moment to turn things around. And I mean, the only thing we have to look at before we get into this game is where these teams are landing.
Let's go ahead and take a look at it here. As I think the big thing for me, you were mentioning, you know, obviously some aggressive legends that are available, but let's not forget a lot of defensive legends still also on the board. So going to be really intrigued to see the kind of balance of that, because usually EDG allows for some packed end games, but you do have teams that do like to fight on the edges. Get the likes of Gen G Esports, Off It Resort, even, you know, you look at Stadium with Wolves. You also had said VK Gaming has been rather quiet down at Humbert Labs. If they do go with those more aggressive team compositions, what sort of hecticness can they cause around the outside, especially because a couple of those teams, especially the likes of VKG, have to start moving with a sense of urgency here, heading down the home stretch of match day 4.
Go and have a look at the game. It does look like we're getting underway for game number 4. And it is our first E District game of today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally here, our final 3 before the big break. And well, if you stayed in the stream during the break, you would have seen that there is a Battle of Apac stream happening on the 16th of May, which is going to be insane. There's some amazing teams in that tournament, and well, I'm looking forward for it.
Definitely going to be really excited there for the Battle of the Apacs in, what is that, 2 weekends here from now? But you mentioned we still have 3 more games of E-District before we do actually get into that break here for ALGS. And it looks like, at least for our first game here on E-District, going to be heading down towards Street Market, which is interesting. For PXX, a team that's had a relatively day. I mean, 13 points here within striking distance, as we had mentioned, going into the break at that halftime here. You've been gifted a zone. If you can have a big game in game number 4, there's still a chance for you to make the podium.
Yeah, and this is the chance for PXX to turn it around. They have Mama Clubs very close by, but at the moment, it's going to be an interesting set of games. Now we know that sometimes E-District can go in any kind of direction, and with the legends that are still left alive, I'm hoping that we'll see a fair bit of baby comp coming out, and all of a sudden we have the games that we deserve here to finish off B versus C. PXX, though, don't have zone knowledge either, Q, and it looks like they're maybe moving out of gifted zone.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm not sure if maybe their thought process is a heat check. You try and push out and find an early fight to at least keep yourself warmed up. I mean, again, we probably don't see too many teams doing that. Maybe just Jackie Chan overextending a little bit here. And do they get caught out is the question. They've got at least shots getting sent their way here by EDG. Currently a duo on that rooftop as 174 has to continue closing the distance. The good news is they are the altar. They can do so relatively quickly. And it looks like EDG for now isn't worried about pushing off to the opposite building either.
Yeah, they're going to take it slow for now. The XX. Maybe they think it's pulling out the back here. Let's give them a little bit of credit. Maybe they know where zone is, Q. As it does look like they are moving towards that area. And it does look like maybe they are also playing for the Evo hub. As we can see, teams all starting to rotate towards this area.
This is dangerous, though, because you already know you do have EDG on your 6. That was Fizz 6 that you were sending shots at off across the direction. And there is a very good chance that Black Hole could also be moving in and adding their name to the conversation down here, as well as it looks like Weibo Gaming is taken to the sky, and they're landing in this vicinity as well. So, yeah, maybe as much as we were starting to discredit PXX, maybe they do have the read on it, because there's a bunch of teams that are right in this vicinity.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams coming towards this area, and I feel like PXX may just be the goats of the zone.
I guess, you know?
Oh man, we're having fun out here. Fizz 6 also in the position as well. Looks like they get it down on Jackie Chan now. Tell you what, I'm impressed with Fizz 6 right now. Fizz 6 looking to really turn their story around, and at the moment they have 20 points Q after 3 games.
Yeah, Fizz 6 have been interesting because they've had a relatively quiet season so far, split so far. They're sitting down in 27th. But when they do get into top 10s, they do a decent job of converting them into the top 5s. It's just about getting into those top 10s. We've seen them today do a decent job of being able to stack up some points and see if they can continue to do so now that we've made the switch here over to E District. It will be Avi-san who potentially looks to push up into the 2nd floor here, and maybe was more just waiting to see if some aggression from that team that's up on top, maybe pushing down into them. But instead, these two teams going to be fine with just kind of splitting real estate for now.
Bulls Esports getting it down here, getting 2 actually, and it looks like it's team. Oh my god! What the hell? Crazy Kong with the Prowler. Just getting rid of 2. Xbox goes down. Ubi gets eliminated. Wolf Esports now need to hold the push from Dog Red. And that was disgusting.
I wasn't sure what team that was when you said Team Oh My God, but yeah, Team Ubi gonna be out of here. Unfortunate for them. And there were a team that you were looking for on the day, and they've been really quiet. We've actually seen them in I think now 2 or 3 of these early eliminations. So they're gonna really have to rely on a strong game 5 and 6 if they want to keep themselves in the conversation at the top. The good news though, like we had mentioned in the break, Stoney, since there haven't really been anybody that's separated from the pack, a lot of the pack is still close together, so as long as that's still the case in Game 4, there's a chance. Meanwhile, Rendang, they currently sit in 5th, trying to see if they can pick up some KP here. And, well, we had mentioned VK Gaming had been struggling thus far. Game 4 is looking like no different.
It's going to be interesting, Q, is this 3-week break and how teams come back. Will we see, like last year, where the change was crazy? I feel like we had so many teams just come back and all of a sudden just really disappeared. TYK was one of them. They were so dominant in those first lot of 5 rounds, I'm pretty sure it was. And then all of a sudden just disappeared. So I really do hope the break doesn't get rid of a lot of teams' momentums. And this is why I feel like teams like VKG, Wolves, and Gen.G really need to take advantage of today, because you don't play again for another 3 weeks.
Yeah, although I might almost argue maybe Gen.G could benefit from the break. Maybe if there's a change in the meta with the shift up of things, maybe that could also benefit them as well. But I think the most important thing is you still have to focus on the here and now, and that is these next 3 games. And Gen G is a squad that really needs to make sure they can focus on in, because you've got squads like QWQ who have really shown up to play here today, who currently sit tied at 29 points. However, the team that they were tied with is Wolves. They're now going to be sent back to the lobby as Dog Red look to get cooking.
The XX looking to move into zone. Fizz 6 coexisting next to QWQ. Now, we said that they don't usually do this. All of a sudden, we are a changed region. So, QWQ, they're going to relax a bit. Fizz 6 also relaxing for now. 17 squads still standing. Round 2 is closing in about a minute's time. And we'll have a look at this zone, and you can see where all the teams are at the moment.
Yeah, well, it looks like where PXX ended up heading is a really darn good call here, Stoney, because they're like dead middle of this ring where it's heading. So gotta love the call for them. Also off in that direction, we have seen, at least relatively early, Weibo Gaming had flown in. They had taken control of this building, and they have not relinquished it. They are also in a very, very good spot. But the problem is, just like they flew in to be able to take the spot, teams are going to continue to take to the sky. Actually, it looks like as we're speaking, it's now that has looked to be able to do so. However, they're not going to land by Weibo, and now also Rendang also trying to find themselves a safe spot as well.
Rendang now looking to stay aggressive. Now down to a solo. Rendang should be able to get this kill. Edward Gaming is a team that stopped Na from getting in. Biyun gets 2 kills. Edward Gaming looking to try and maybe bounce back here as well for game number 4.
And we saw them have a decent game number 2, but they did have otherwise a quiet games 1 and 3, and they are on like the farthest westernmost buildings. So if it continues to pull that direction, they're in a good spot. Fizz 6 has a couple of teams around them, one of which we had just turned off of was QWQ. I think they might be looking to play aggressive here with the Altar. Nice. That is indeed the case. They push right on through, and it's not going to be enough. Fizz 6, they are able to hold. That's nasty.
Oh my God, Avi-san, that may be the best IQ play I have seen this whole split. He just 100-banged all 3 of them as they tried to get through that Gibby bubble. They all got electrified, and he all got killed. Avi-san holding it down for the boys, gets the 3 kills. Fizz 6 now in a great position, and they stay alive.
We're going to have a conversation one of these days about that Q also having the stun on top of it, but that's not for now. For now, Fizz 6 will continue to try and add to their point tally as Avisan sending some shots off across the way. Let's not forget that you do still have that breach charge, of course, in the Hemlock to potentially buy you some space if you opt to push across the street. But why would you? You've got these boxes that have brought you all sorts of spoils, all sorts of heals, and you know that you've still got plenty of time inside of the zone.
Man, insane right now from the boys of Fizz 6. They'll be pretty happy with that. I could imagine the comms, Witness and Silly Stepsis, they would have been doing their best. Australian and New Zealand. Wow! Or Avi. Oh, we're going to have a look at some action though. 2C1M, they're still alive, sitting out here with 19 points at the moment. Dog Red, the team that you were talking about that needs to get it going just a little bit, Q. They're sitting on the outside of zone, well, one of them is, and just trying to see if there's any late comers to zone.
Yeah, I think they're trying to catch you. There's actually a couple of teams that are rotating just to that southwestern side of Street Market. You've got Black Hole as well as you do have 2C1M, and it actually looks like those two teams might be starting a fight. It looks like Fafa Thief might be calling that out, which means there's a chance for them to potentially pull over for a third party. But it looks like for now, going to make sure that they've got safety and nobody else pulling up to turn the third party into a fourth party.
Go and have a look at the team that I feel like we've talked a lot about, and that is Gen G. And, well, they're in a pretty good spot at the moment, Q, that Ziki has the limited Kraber ammo in the hand as well. You have Asia out here on the Rave, so he's just been a little aggressive and confident in himself and maybe a little bit too confident. He may go down and he can't get back his portal.
That's tough. The portal just on the other side of the railing. You go down, you can't ascend over that thing, and you're just a sitting duck. You end up falling, and now it's going to be up to Dexter and Zicky to be able to play the rest of this thing out more than likely as a duo, unless they happen to be able to find a Moby. But it will be Zicky who will throw that ult out as they try to ascend up this hill. But it's a Syracuse that gets sent their way, and they'll have to back down.
And G throwing out the ult. As they can see, there is a team on the height, and that is TYK that is looking to be aggressive here. They do have the Kraber in hand. If he... Oh my god!
Oh
YRV
my God.
goes down. Zicky now can move in. He has the Kraber. He just pulls out the Gibby ult as well. Can he get some more downs? This is going to be interesting for the boys of Gen G. They really need this. They really need this right now. They need to be careful. It does sound like they got the res off Q, and now all of a sudden they're kind of on the back foot.
Yeah, now they're on their back foot, and they're caught in a tough spot as well because the zone isn't going to be very favorable to them as well once it starts really closing in on their backside, especially since they are the 2 in the 2v3. They will continue to be able to play from the high ground, and they'll look for some sort of an opening. The good news is you've got Dexter to be able to make sure no sky nades come your way, as we did see that Gen had been put down. But for now, it's just kind of low and slow, Stone.
It is. 2C1M now trying to stay alive, and I don't like their chances. Grape Soda, hey, let's get some kills on the board, boys, and I like it. Grape Soda looking good here for game number 4. Rendang now looking to be aggressive as well. Weibo Gaming is the team that they're maybe moving in on. We can see also that Edward Gaming have their hands full. UB Bubble coming out. DCG looking to maybe get the first win on E District, even though they got the first on Storm Point as well. DCG, can they move in? No, that has been reinforced, but they will just have to coexist for now as the chaos is unfolding outside.
Fortunate issue for them is not only do they have all the firing going on that's outside, but you do also have a team that is right up above you as well, and that is EDG, who may be looking to play a little aggressive here in just a moment. So DCG will pop that bubble. They're the second bubble here, however. So once that bubble does drop, that could give EDG the chance to peek on through. They've got the shotties in hand. DCG doing enough to be able to keep them at bay. Of course, you also have the walls to play around, and I think there's a third party pulling up as well.
It is. That Rafe is an absolute psycho. Edward Gaming moving in. It is Gen G as well. Dexter on the backside setting up. They do need to try and get Asia back into the lobby. The best thing about Gen G at the moment is they have the unlimited Kraber in the hand, and Zicky can do some crazy things right now with just one gun right now. We have to wait and see, though, how this is going to work out for the boys. We have 12 squads still standing in round number 5.
I really like the play there. It's something small, but you saw Zicky just go ahead and eat that stun right away, knowing that they weren't going to instantly push that bubble. That way, if the call was to push it afterwards, the stun aspect is already gone. But instead, they'll just continue playing around the outside. You'll use this pylon to be able to keep yourself safe as well. Shot gets sent across. Oh, giving haircuts out here, Stoney.
Yeah, Zicky with the Kravers, a scary man. Oh, but there's a dude on the height. It's Edward Gaming in the best spot, and they look good right now as well. We do have another Kraber cam as well, and that is Fuffer 5th. Gen G Esports get eliminated in 11th position. They don't get many KP there either, Q, and that is tough going. The beautiful shots here as well for Faf moving in with the Kraber.
Gen G, there's something about the back half of these match days. They've just been struggling, and again, not going to make another top 10. TYK will be out in 10th, as it is Fizz 6 that will now need to hit the green light and full send to their south to make their way towards zone. Actually, quite a few of these teams are on the northern side, Dog Red included, will have to continue making their way. The good news, Fafafif does have that Kraber in hand, might be able to find at least one opening, but unfortunately that there will will be a swing and a miss. Will potentially look to make a play around the altar TP, but instead has to back down.
We need to be careful. This is a tough spot now for Dog Red. Buffer Fifth maybe being a little too aggressive with the Kraber and not taking his chances when he should have. Set up a little bit too late as well, and now he's down to a solo, and I don't like their chances here. Q, as it looks like PXX are moving in to clean it up, and they will. Mozam's come out, but all of a sudden the nades are coming out as well. Here comes the third party as Fizz 6 are looking real good here in game number 4.
Well, you know what they say, ain't no party like the third party, because the third party don't stop. It's Fizz 6, the third party's the third party. Take them on out, and they are going to have the bubble to be able to hold off from this ultimate as well. The problem, do they have at least some of this? They might have at least enough of this real estate just inside of the zone to be able to reset. Witness Me will be able to play from within the inside. The problem, though, is they are a duo.
Does look like Player K has Kraber in the hand as well. We're just getting gifted at the moment with the Kraber cams. Player K with a beautiful headshot. Ronan going down. You may as well call this the Kraber game of E-District. Right now, 4 squads left alive, and Grape Soda all of a sudden have come out of nowhere and looking pretty good, Q.
They got themselves a good spot. They basically have had the control of the southern side of the zone for the last like 2-3 minutes. There have not been very many teams that have pushed this way. It's mostly been teams from the north that have continued to push their way down south. Mama Clubs does look like they are going to fall here, especially as that bubble gets popped. They'll get stunned as they push through, but hold on a second. Cutest shows that the Mastiff doesn't just bark, it bites as well. The problem, though, is they will end up being removed. It's now a 3v3.
It's 2 teams left standing. Grape Soda looking to keep their dream alive. 1 win, like we said, Q, could change the whole game. What a bubble as well.
That was cute.
Oh, goes 1. There is a 2v2 situation. It is an R9 versus a PK. R9s go out. Low-key's helping the situation. Player K's back on his feet as well. He needs to be careful. He goes down. It's a Grape Soda win in game number 4 of E-District.
What a game from Grape Soda. It was low and slow in that middle portion of the game. They had complete control of the southern side of the zone. And then one by one, they were able to take those team fights to be able to come out on top with a big dub, to be able to move up into the top 5 going into game number 5.
They had only 15 points before that game. Or maybe only 3, actually. 3 points before that game. And now they're sitting on 29 points. Nico, Low-Key, and Player K getting a 14-kill victory for game number 4. And all of a sudden, they put themselves in a top 5 situation in the leaderboard. We're going to have a look at the match summary. And, well, Grape Soda leading the way in that game. 26 points. Fizz 6 getting 2nd. Mama Club's 3rd. Weibo 4th, and Rendang in the top 5. We're going to have a look at the series overall, and just like that, you wouldn't believe it, but Grape Soda have kept their regional final dreams alive, Q, moving themselves into a top 4 position. Mama Clubs get sitting 1st, Fizz 6 are sitting 2nd, Rendang 3rd, Grape Soda 4th, and QWQ 5th. That is 2 Open League teams in the top 5.
That's huge. I mean, really, again, continues to show the amount of talent that are within this region. But let's take a look at who's going to be taken off of the board. And I said the defensive legends were probably going to be the next ones removed. It will be the big boy Gibby off of the board first. And I think that is now 3 of the 5 games where our second most picked legend, 3 of the 4 games where our second most picked legend has been Alter, yet Alter still continues to survive going into game number 5.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how she is doing it, but well done. I feel like it's at that situation where, you know, when the controller legends just used to keep getting banned and then come back in and come back in. It feels like Alter's just finding a way to be that second legend game after game after game. and being able to survive through to a game 6. We'll go and have a look at our top 5 kills and damage leaders. And well, Tracy Dams leading the way, Jackie Chan second, Ronan third, Was is fourth, and Loki in the top 5. And well, for damage, Wen sitting on top, No Name sitting second, Cuda sitting third, JR or Shayo sitting fourth, and Blank in the top 5. And well, that's another different winner queue in 4 games.
Yeah, it's you know, it's something I know you love to see as far as when it comes to this graphic, seeing multiple teams on it, but not only multiple teams, but all unique teams. I feel like it's something that we're really starting to see more consistently again across all of the regions. I think we're just seeing with the amount of talent that have really been developing globally over the years, that gap at the top continues to close, which really makes the end of these games more interesting. More teams really vying for those god spots, those game-winning positions, which gives us just so much more action, Stone.
Yes, so much more. 2 more games to be had here on E District before that is all she wrote for B versus C. So far, so good. A lot of action have been coming our way, and I feel like there's still a lot to talk about when it comes to teams that have been struggling. And I want to go and have a look at this guy, and it is Gen G Asia. Now, we know how good he is, but today, man, it is just a different dude out on the playing field.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there have been a couple of times that where we tune in, and unfortunately, when they are a player short, they're missing you know, the tip of the spear, right? When the tip of the spear is missing, the arrow doesn't quite hit with the same impact. And that's just kind of what we've seen from Gen G. I would say not only today, but at times in other positions as well. I feel like we've seen Asia's has gotten a little overly aggressive, knocked in positions, but when Asia's is on their feet, we know that they have the ability to contend with the best. So don't count them out. They still have 2 more games to be able to contend here.
That they do. Another one of the players to talk about is No Name. He has been farming right now as well. As we're getting into these later stages of the games, it seems like he just gets better as the games go on.
Age is like fine wine. It does feel like over the course of a match day. Yeah, it gets better with time for sure. And the Wolves, while maybe have been a little silent today, always have the ability to be able to pop off, and really it is most definitely because of No Name. I don't want to discredit the other two. I mean, Wen and Crazy Kong definitely, yeah, they're definitely great players in their own right, but No Name really does lead the charge for this trio.
Yeah, he does, and it's a dude that just can turn the game so quickly as well, with just a couple of crazy plays that just changes the momentum for the boys. So, you know, it's a team that is really relying on him to stand right next to Wen as well. And, well, QQ, VK Gaming, another team that has really struggled today. VK Gaming, I think, are sitting... Where are they sitting at the moment? I think they're sitting maybe in the bottom 10. They're sitting 12th with 19 points. So they only have 7 kills after 4 games. This is not the VK Gaming we know so far in Split 1.
Haven't quite had the same bite, that's for sure. But I mean, kind of similar in a situation like we were talking about with Gen G. Like, you know, as long as they put themselves in a position, they have the ability to find that same fragging or that same like fragging spirit right back at any sort of time. I think that's one thing that makes this VK Gaming squad so dangerous, is even when they're having a bad day, you still expect them to turn it around by game 6, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Alrighty, well, chat, we are about to get into game number 5, and this is the drop spots once again. Fizz 6 getting 3rd, but Grape Soda getting the win on the south side of zone, and it pulled up. Where did that pull? All the way out near Edward Gaming and PXX. So a pretty good game there for Grape Soda today. It has, and that Grape Soda, man, they have had a very tough time in these last 4 weeks of Apex, and for them to stick with it and get a huge game like that, these boys are looking pretty good right now.
Now, it is worth noting that they did score a majority of their points on E District. I think it was their first day of the split, and I think over the course of the split, we've generally seen E District has been their best map. So they've been able to pick up a map win in map number 4. Can they carry over that momentum? Because you were mentioning still trying to keep their regional finals hopes alive. You need to be essentially top 3. You need those big points here today to be able to at least still have a chance.
That you do. Game 5 is getting underway right now, Q, and well, let's get into the action right now and see where we are heading, and well, we might actually have our first North Zone of the day.
See if it ends up I'm trying to remember, didn't we have one of our first days of the split where we were on E District? I feel like we had a couple that ended up towards that Electro Dam area, up towards Autobots, and we'll see if it ends up in that direction. I feel like we've also seen a couple more across the regions. Of course, this does mean Grape Soda will not have to rotate very far, and you know, your boys at ball nowhere, I guess. Does look like we're gonna be heading not only off into the northeastern side, but far up in the northeast, more than likely all the way up to that Electro Dam.
Oh, well, Electro Dam, probably one of my most favorite zones to watch in this game. And well, Autobots, the freshly signed team, Control Alt Defeat, they'll be gifted with a pretty nice zone here for game number 5. Now, as we know, majority of the time it does finish towards that south side of Electro Dam, a little bit down to the lower, or even around this area where the bridge is. So be interesting to see how they go. Now, one team that might actually benefit from a zone that's not near them is Gen G Esports, because they'll be able to do what they like to do, and that is rotate to get their Evo harvesters up. Now, something that we have to talk about as well, Q, coming into the next lot of games for this split, we may not have Tridents anymore over on Stormpoint or Olympus.
Oh, true. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what changes do come across there. We always talk about meta shift ups, but I think usually when people think about that, it's more about, you know, within the Legends itself. Yeah, if those get taken off, that could be really crazy. I think that also, I guess in a sense, could kind of change up, I guess, Legend composition. If you don't have Tridents, maybe you see more regions adapting to the thought process that we've seen Apac South do, which is where we do see Valkyrie getting taken off the board more.
That's we will. Which, and also I guess you may see Wraith be used a little bit more than what she is at the moment, but I have to wait and see. 20 squads left alive. Gen G Esports going to do what they do best, and that is probably take their time getting into zone. We'll go and have a look. And a team that is making their way to zone, that is Ubi. And they are in Energy Bank at the moment, very close to Black Hole.
They are in, we have seen, unfortunately, a couple of games where Team Ubi have gone out relatively early. Granted, they do sit in a pretty good spot in the leaderboards overall on the split. But it feels like if they were to somehow turn things around here in maps 5 and 6 and be able to put themselves up into that like top 6-ish sort of category, I think while not necessarily having land secured, they would have land all but secured as long as they don't come out and you know, absolutely poop their pants in the last 2 weeks. So we'll see if maybe they have a chance to be able to bounce back. We mentioned earlier though, Grape Soda seems to be able to have a really good grasp on these E-District games. They're looking to take a fight here early.
Well, the confidence up and about here for the boys of Grape Soda as they won that last game pretty comfortably. They're looking to try and get some more early KP on the board here. And sorry, lads, but this team here has a lot of experience, and that is Wolves Esports. And that's going to be a pretty tough 3 to move in on here for game number 2. As we can see, Grape Soda looking to maybe get away here early on, and that's what they're going to do and get into a better position.
Can they find themselves a building that doesn't have wolves on the first floor? And it does look like that is going to be the case. And Wolves, while they do have, they had what, the one decent game, while I think you would say for Wolves, currently sitting in 7th, not quite where they usually expect to see themselves. So would like to maybe be able to make a change in game number 5. They've put themselves in a decent position as far as for now, but this is one of those end games, as they will have to eventually still move even further towards Electro Dam. While has plenty of buildings, if you are one of the last teams there aren't very many fun playable spots to be from. So they got to wrap up this first little engagement with this team across the way, which is Grape Soda, relatively quick.
Yeah, on the heights, Grape Soda overlooking Wolves Esports. And, well, they've made the right decision. That is get away. Because, yes, you had a pretty good game last game. You don't really want to overextend to a team like Wolves Esports and throw a position that's pretty good. So, seems to settle down for now, Q, as teams are still making their way towards zone.
Yeah, I mean, at this point right now, we always talk about on E-District, right? This is one of our maps that tends to play a little slower at this point. Ring 1 closing basically until about Ring 3 closes, just because there is so many spots where you don't really have to share space. One thing that we didn't talk about potentially coming into play more as far as Legends is the Rampart. We've just seen the Sheila warming up. It doesn't look like going to come into play just quite yet here. It will be Wolves, however, who are trying to hold off Black Hole, who are on the second floor. They're trying to make a play.
Esports. This could be kind of good for Grape Soda. If Grape Soda decide to move in early enough here, we could see Grape Soda clean this up. Wolves Esports kind of on the back foot for now. Black Hole are trying to be aggressive, but not overly aggressive. The altar nearly going down. That is No Name making his way back up to the height. Now they just have to relax and play behind this Newcastle wall.
I think when you were talking about as far as for Grape Soda, I don't know if Grape Soda is going to want to push all the way down here. I think Grape Soda fine with sitting a little closer towards the zone, especially now. Yeah, they'll get that information that they will have to continue pulling off towards their, essentially their northwest, but the northeastern side of this zone itself. Again, it's still Black Hole that continues to knock at the doors here of Wolves. They haven't quite been able to find enough of an opening to fully get the green light up these stairs. You got to give Wolves the credit where credit's due. They're doing a good job of holding the line.
Black Hole being a little too aggressive. Does need to be careful as Wolves. You may know that one of them, man, he will just be as aggressive as he can be to try and change the game. And that they are. Down goes No Name though, so it's Crazy Kong that needs to get the res. Wen doing what Wen does best, and that's clean up the rest. Black Hole get eliminated. 6 also go out. We now have 18 squads left alive.
Does look like a latecomer to the party, potentially. You had mentioned how there's Grape Soda rotating. They'll potentially be pushing off towards Wolves. Meanwhile, though, Weibo Gaming all the way up in Electro Dam itself, I think has just picked up at least a couple of KP. We'll reap the spoils and see what's inside the box. What's in the box before they get back together here as a full 3 is, I think, for now, going to be looking to try and utilize this position that they were able to rotate to early and hope to just essentially hunker down for late game.
See DCG being aggressive. It is just going to be Shayo looking at the action. Doesn't want to be too crazy in the over push, so they will rotate back. And I mean, they're in a pretty good position right now, DCG as well. They don't really need to throw their spot.
Yeah, I mean, they had the one good game. I feel like right now, because of the good position that you're in, yeah, you don't want to overextend. You still have a chance to be able to make a play here. You're not quite, I wouldn't say dead center of the zone, because you will have to end up still moving a little bit more off towards your northeast. But, I mean, you are in a decent spot where you're kind of isolated by yourself for now. There's a chance that if Gen G get pushed away from the northern choke point that they're getting pushed to, maybe they rotate towards you. But otherwise, there's a chance you can catch some teams that are slow to the party rotating in.
Mama Clubs looking to make their way in as well. Closest team to them is Edward Gaming. 18 squads still standing, Q. Round 2 closing. Not bad here for the lads. As we can see, Wolves Esports rotating in. Grape Soda doing well to swing around from where they were. Gen G still on the edge of zone for now as well. So all comes down to the next lot of zones where the rotate in starts to get a little bit harder moving forward.
I'm not gonna lie, I would kind of like to see DCG like rotate up towards Gen G. I don't know if that is Gen G that is towards their north. I just feel like that's a better rotate in towards where this thing is eventually going to be pulling in kind of fully off towards well, I guess we're gonna have to wait and actually get that ring knowledge. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but yeah, I feel like as far as at least isolating Gen G could be the call. But TYK is one of these two teams that is on the farthest, most northeastern side. They will be getting pushed here, however. It's QWQ is coming in on the hunt.
Listen, let's move that way.
Gaming as well, trying to just relax for now. TYK chilling out. But yeah, there's a lot of teams still on that outside of zone that will need to make their way in. Gen G, one of the teams that knows there's teams close by looking to maybe get into some action early on here as well, Cuba, with 18 squads still standing and round 3 only just beginning. There's a lot of real estate still available here for some of these teams.
There is definitely still some real estate. The question is, where do you want to play from? And do you know where some teams are currently at? Because so many teams have rotated early. I've had a ring knowledge. I don't know if you necessarily understand the lay of the land when it comes to where your neighbors are at and what kind of firepower they're currently sitting with. TYK, I think they are currently under QWQ. I think QWQ technically playing on the high ground up above them, not on top of their building, but up a little bit higher. But then Gen G looking off in the distance towards or from their west. So they will want to make sure that they play this slow because so many, powerful or so many, deadly teams that are in their vicinity. And TYK is still in a spot despite being in 16th because of the 15 points, the way that this leaderboard looks. A good fit. Oh, okay, doesn't have enough to be able to get their Q back. They are in a good spot where enough of a good, strong finish here in 5th can put you in the conversation.
WQ still on the hype for now. Let's go and have a look at Grape Soda and see where they are at the moment. And well, player K still with the longbow in hand. R9 as well, playing that Seer. Gonna try and get some ring knowledge here as well before they rotate in. PXX also trying to find a place to play with Weibo Gaming on the height. This is a team that I'm kind of not very sure what's happening to Weibo Gaming. They have been very, very quiet, it seems, Q.
I feel like they were a team that even before they got picked up, people saw as having the potential, but yeah, it just hasn't quite met it here. Of course, we have talked in nauseum about how close the competition is here in this season, not just in Apac South, but within all of the regions as well. Weibo Gaming, kind of like some of the teams we had mentioned earlier in the day, like Gen G, maybe could benefit from this couple-week break that we've got coming up. BKG also has had a relatively quiet day, at least as far as today, looking to get things moving down here on this southeastern side of the zone. However, setting shots off in the direction across the way, they haven't been able to find any sort of opening.
It's kind of slowed down for now. It feels like with no Gibby, still very, very slow games. Grape Soda trying to hold it down. Gen G look like they might be getting into some action as well. And this is where it gets very interesting for the boys of Gen G. One down, you would hate for this team to get eliminated at 18th position. This would really be unlike Gen G here in a game 5. Nice nades coming out though from Asia. Just needs to hold it down for now. The Weibo Gaming gets eliminated, so Fizz 6 getting the kills there as well. Somehow they're dead. But Mama Club's now also getting into some action.
Now, unfortunately, Mama Club's on the far southern side of that zone, so they'll need to make sure they can clean that fight up quickly. LQ Dud will be able to at least get Kaza back up onto the feet, but they will lose their third. We had mentioned how QWQ playing on that supreme high ground where they're at on the northern side of the zone. They're still sitting there as they will continue to be able to poke and prod away. Was he using that longbow, which will be efficient in that regards. Dog Red, we had mentioned earlier, still looking to try and see if they can get things cooking. They're playing from the low ground on the opposite side of the zone, and they haven't really been able to get much going in Game 5.
No, they haven't. Wolves Esports, they're looking to try and get some things going here, and they will get rid of VK Gaming. So VK Gaming get eliminated at 17th position, Q. Something very unheard of for the caliber of that team. All of a sudden, VK Gaming on the back foot today. Now we can see 2C1M holding off the push from the team above. Autobots looking to try and stay look where we're looking to try to stay alive. They get eliminated, but look, all of a sudden, Grape Soda moving in on the backside. They're taking control here of the height all of a sudden. AK moving in. Needs to be careful. Nico as well. Wall coming out. I don't like their chances. This may be all it wrote for Grape Soda, and they get eliminated. Kakoi now looking to try and hold off the push as well. This is just chaos. There's teams absolutely everywhere. The alternators coming out from Kiss Hands. He tries and gets some fences out. It is Team Na on one side, and I don't know who that is on the other side at all at the moment. It may be Gen G.
Gen G is pushing in here as they will now look to try and push up into that height. No, actually looking to try and pull somebody on it down. Will now be pushing up into the height is Dexter and has the Prowler in hand, cleaning one up, cleaning the other as well. But the question is, where do you go from here? You mentioned the high ground that they're playing with. It does give them at least a little bit of an advantage. They won't have to be able to worry about rotating too far, but they will have to worry about, at least for one team, it is not in their vicinity.
Rendang now trying to hold the push off as well. R9 coming out for Ronan. He's going to go down. It's Edward Gaming coming in for the third party. All of a sudden, there is so many fights happening. There is 11 squads left in round number 5 closing. Gen G still standing, and this could be the game that we said, Q, a Gen G game to all of a sudden put them in to a top 4 position going into the last game.
And they need a huge one here, that is for sure. A team that has seemingly struggled in back halves of series might be able to make something shake. We talked about the position they were in. Now we've been able to get a full reset here as well. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the zone and one floor down, it is Wolves, one of our other heavy contesters, looking to make their way on in. So is Dog right on the southern side.
It's tough for a lot of teams right now. PXX trying to hold off the teams on this rotate. 11 squads still standing right now, chat. 11 squads in zone number 5. PXX getting dragged through the wall with the ulti Q. Just get her banned in game 1 and this wouldn't have to happen. QWQ trying to, they were trying to stay alive. They get eliminated. Ubi still alive as well. Gen G at the same time being aggressive to Wolves Esports, who are underneath them, as well as Team Na. 10 squads still standing. Triple take in the hand for Ronan, and it is all happening.
How is Ronan staying alive here? Looking for a single cell to give them something, but ends up getting it taken down. I was wonder who was going to find them out in the open. Now it's EDG who's trying to play behind the Moby shield. Will eventually lose the cover from there. Ubi has been able to get back to a full trio, back onto their feet, and if we're being honest, Ubi in quite a decent spot as long as they can watch. It is PXX who has also been able to reset off to their southwest.
Wolves Esports just quietly right now has 10 kills. 10 kills and looking to take the lead after 5 games. So like I said, Wolves Esports, yes, they may be looking quiet, but all of a sudden this team is literally right there to take the lead away from Mama Clubs. Right now, it comes down to these last 8 squads, and look at the spot of where Gen G is right now. They need to worry about Na and Wolves, but this is where it gets interesting for the team of Gen G.
Yeah, it's really tough because while you did have the high ground, you're now going to be one of the first teams to move, and surely at least somebody going to be looking off in your direction. PXX will go out in the 8th spot, and surely we're going to be seeing another couple of teams joining them here soon. It will be DCG, however, who gets back up onto their feet and should be able to reset. But the problem is Gen G now looking their way. Gen G, more like Senji. No, that's not who they're actually pushing onto right below them.
Gen G now looking across the way. Beautiful shots. Down goes one. Dexter with the Prowler, the auto Prowler. They know that Wolves are on the other side. They don't know it's Wolves, but they know there's a team there. They might scan and queue through the wall. That's exactly what they do. What a play by the boys to be aggressive. Down goes one. Down goes two. Down goes three. And that is Gen G getting rid of Wolves Esports. Ziki, the last one standing. We have 4 squads left, and Gen G are trying to get a reset on the water slide.
They're all by themselves. The other 3 teams are all on the southwestern side of this zone. It's Kakoi looking to push in. They'll clean up Ubi, but with all this fighting going on, that means Gen G have been able to get a complete reset. They're pushing down, and this should be a Gen G win. Gen G, more like GG as Gen G take game number 5.
Gen G with a 10-kill victory in game number 5, and all of a sudden, like we said, the dream is back alive for this team, as they only needed 1 Gen G game to be back where they belong, and that is the top 4 all of a sudden.
I'm not gonna lie, there is that position earlier on where it looked like Gen G was in a little bit of trouble, and I was thinking I was gonna have to message my boy Don, who I know from the Apex, the podcast, is doing a watch party. Watch us, said they had the Gen G jersey on. I was about to tell them they're gonna have to take that thing off for game number 6. They're gonna have a chance to bounce back, but what a game for them. You mentioned the 10 kills for them, 22-point game, and it very much, Stoney, puts them in the conversation for the podium with 1 more game left.
Man, what a what a game of Apex. Game number 5, Gen G has just had a huge game. Now, all of a sudden, they were sitting, like we said, Q, they were sitting in the bottom 10 all day. Let's go and have a look how they're sitting now after that game. Well, the match summary, they just had a 22-point game and a win. Kakoi with 17 kills with 26 points. DCG get 3rd, Ubi 4th, and Wolves Esports had 10 kills in a top 5 situation as well. And well, the series overall, I guess, is going to be very interesting. And well, Mama Clubs is leading the way just with Wolves Esports, but Gen G move into the top 3 after 5 games of Apex.
That is insane to see how much things have shifted off of the back of that last game. And if Kakoi has another banger like they just had, they can still put themselves up on the podium as well. So it does feel like, I think, anybody within that top 10, maybe even 11 if you want to throw Grape Soda in the mix, since we do know they have the ability to pop off on E-District. Any of them have a big win, you still have a chance for not even just podium, but depending on how quickly Mama Clubs, Wolves Esports, and Gen G go out in game number 6, you can still take home the top spot potentially.
Then it looks like we're going to have Newcastle as the last band. So, well, Alter makes it the whole way through game 6, and I don't know how she does it, but she does it well. Alter will last. And that is your 5 bands in the games today. Crypto, Valk, Mad Maggie, Gibby, and Newcastle. Heading into game number 6 is going to be an interesting game. We may see a lot more Caustics, a lot more Rampart, and maybe some more Wraith as well. But as you can see, the Seers are starting to make their way out as well here in the games. No Name, well, he's leading the way at the moment for his crew with kills. Jackie Chan sitting 2nd, Tracy Dam 3rd, Blank 4th, and Wazza 5th. And well, the damage, when leading the way, No Name coming 2nd, Blank 3rd, JR 4th, and Cutis in the top 5. That is how it looks so far, and that is another winner, Q. 5 different winners so far in today's games.
Yeah, part of the reason we see the overall leaderboard looking the way it does, right? Not only because we've had 5 different five different winners, but they've all been around similar KP as well. No one with like absolutely monstrous, say, 17, 18, 20-point wins like we saw last week, but also seeing a lot of change even within the top 3s over the course of those first 5 games, which again just kind of leads to that very packed top 10 looking the way that it does as we do get ready for our last iteration here on E-District. I hope y'all are as excited as I am, man. This thing has been close throughout the course of the day, and only fitting for us to get it this way heading into a break.
Yeah, I mean, we got one more game to go, Q. And all of a sudden, I mean, Gen G are right there. We've all been talking about it. There's a lot of people in chat that have been saying Gen G, we need a Gen G, Gen G, Gen G. Yeah, well, we said they were one Gen G game away from turning this thing around. They only had 10 kills, and all of a sudden they're sitting in a top 3 situation. And I think that's the best thing about the teams that we have out here today, Q, is that anything can happen in these games because of the quality of the teams that are in the lobby. So we wait to see what Game 6 has in store for us. And I mean, right now it is close. And you're looking at teams like Mama Clubs to try and hold it down as well for a win.
Yeah, I mean, right now, when you look at the top, I mean, it's really anybody's game, which is really exciting to see. I feel like of the teams that are at the top, would I say Mama Clubs is the one that could use it the most? Maybe not, but they are the team that is the ones who could really, they are on a short list of teams that could really use one. We had talked about teams that were kind of towards the edge of the bubble going into today, Stoney. They were definitely one of those teams. So if you could pick up a big 25 points today, all of a sudden you're feeling confident going into the break. So let's see how, I would imagine for them, game number 6 here is probably going to be more about placement versus KP though.
Yeah, I mean, 7th to 3rd are 2 points different. So
yeah.
And it's not just that it's a massive difference in the points, obviously, on the leaderboard, but it's a massive difference of points in the overall ALGS Pro League leaderboard, because 3rd to 7th is a substantial difference in these scores. So, for teams like Fizz 6 and Edward Gaming, who have been pretty impressive today, to have a team like Gen G come out of nowhere, get a win like that, and take a position off you when you've been consistent over the last 5 games would be so disheartening. But with the last game coming down to it now, this is where it gets really interesting for a lot.
One more game, Sony. This one here, this is where we figure out how the standings look, not only for today, but at the conclusion of this game, we'll get to see how the standings look for the entirety of the region, with all teams left only having 2 match days left to being played. So we'll have a pretty good grasp as far as what not only regional finals will look like, but at least also what other 8 teams besides VKG we're going to be looking to send off to EWC.
Go and have a look at the map overlay once more so everyone can see where everyone is landing. For Gen G, it is the way of the game, right? If you're on the other side of the map, you will win the game. So Gen G get the victory on the other side of the map. The game before, Grape Soda got the victory on the other side of the map. So very interesting game so far, with game 6 about to get underway. Hopefully everyone is in the lobby. It did look like it was a little bit of a pause there, Q, but game number 6 hopefully about to start.
You can only hope, but especially for the players too, right? I can only imagine as far as I guess nerves. You're sitting there waiting for lobby number 6 to load in. You see that there's 59 of 60 players. You don't want to go through the whole process of having to restart the lobby. And I do have some bad news, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we're missing a player from Black Hole. They have unfortunately fallen into the Black Hole, and we are more than likely going to have to run things back. We saw, America's having to run things back a little bit in this past week, and I couldn't help but think to the back, to myself, in the back of my mind, we're used to that in Apac South. So, and unfortunately, I think that thought process might have jinxed us a little bit, as we've had a few of these here in match day number 6. But I do think, unfortunately, Stoney, we're going to have to wait just another couple minutes for this last map.
That we will, but there is some stuff for the chat to win. Remember, there's only 1 game left for them to get involved in the coin giveaway. So, Q, what have I got to write in chat?
It's !Apac South to be able to make sure you can get involved. Remember, it's free to get involved. You get yourself a chance. Who doesn't want some? Who doesn't want some Apex coins heading into the new season, right?
That is exactly correct. And we are here to give you guys some coins. And, well, as you guys know, we have the Apex League Joy Invitational coming up, and that is going to be the Battle of Apex. So I'm going to hit you with the Invitational trailer one more time, and then into a BRB while we get ready to get into game number 6. But sit back, relax, get yourself a drink, something to eat. We'll be right back right now just around the corner with some more Apex action.
Wolves still have an opportunity, and there's only one member left inside those. They don't do it! It ends here! Beacon Gaming! They take the top! That's a wall team. 3 squads
내가 웃어도 매력 on the side. 가슴을 삭히니 아름이 light. I saw a fire, he at the soul. 엄마의 he was skin up. 미집이 가랬다 심하거니 4월했다 진호지 방근이. 쓰다우 just came on no 매우 쉬다 야슬라와 한글리. 기타는 가져대지 따를 snow. 가리 놀라서 더 비가웃겨. 내 물에 나이키 no 원래 이만 거는 스테이션이 탔대 show. 안 놓기 노래는 맞게가 trigger. 지갈라 words get in my response. 스베테 희거리 가수 토끼가 기타를 설레와 마사니마. They told me not to jump on. Yeah, I feel like I walked in. No Liam money gone short.
Righty, game number 6 is underway. Everyone is in the lobby and it is about to get started. Our final game of B vs C is about to get underway right now with what is probably the most closest end game we've had for a while.
If this goes where I think it might be going, I think the plot armor of the Wolves is just honestly too crazy in Apac South. After having a relatively quiet day, if this thing... Okay, I was about to say, if it goes stadium for the final game, I was about to lose my mind. It is worth noting, though, that does give VK Gaming priority on zone, as they are already smack dab in the middle of this thing. A team that has been relatively quiet, despite the fact that they do have the highest point average on E-District and the second highest average placement finish on E-District. They have not been able to produce today. Let's see if they can do so here now that they've been given zone at Humbert Labs.
This could be the game that VK Gaming needed. And that is pretty good. If you're a VK Gaming fan, you'll be pretty happy that they are in a position that they can bounce back with the last game victory. And if you're looking at it, you're going, hey, if Gen G can do it, we know that VKG can do it, because the difference between VKG and Gen G, well, one has won a major tournament, and if they can do this right now, VKG, they'll be pretty happy with their last game of today. 20 squads still standing. A lot of teams looking to maybe make their way in early, as we know where zone is pulling Q.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say the difference between VKG and Gen G was just a couple of letters. But yeah, there is that whole plan win thing as well, which is a pretty significant difference as well. But yeah, VKG is going to probably get the idea that they don't have to move, because they've already seen so many teams already starting to close their way in this direction. We did mention for Wolves, they didn't have far to rotate, but also 2C1M is the direction where they were rotating. However, 2C1M seems to be falling behind in this fight, and I think because of that, Kurong will tuck tail and run.
That's Wolves Esports once again looking pretty good. Whoa, would have thought, but here comes the third party. That is Dog Red looking to maybe get rid of Wolves Esports here early. A lot of teams playing zone and a lot of teams moving in to a pretty good god position as well, Q, because as we know, a lot of teams have been pretty good with their zone callings here early on.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of IGLs really being able to step up in that regard. A lot of these leaders of these teams doing their homework and putting their teams in good positions, which means it's all about who is able to outfight the other. And the question is, can Autobots stay on their feet and outfight Nah? For now, the question seems to be Nah, as they've been able to turn this fight in their direction. And not only that, Nah are currently your kill leaders. They seem to be trying to turn up the heat.
Have a look. It does look like we have a little bit of Autobots v Black Hole. Beautiful shots by Psycho. It is down to Josh to get it done, but Black Hole will get rid of Autobots here early on. 3 squads already eliminated. This is having a little bit of scrims written about it.
Yeah, I mean, right now you do have a couple of teams that feel like they need to move with a sense of urgency, so we are seeing some earlier fights. Even noticing on the map overhead, we've got 5 teams that are way still on the northern side of the zone, whereas normally, because of the fact that E-District has quite a bit of real estate, you have teams wanting to prioritize getting the better of the real estate and rotating relatively quickly. Seems like Black Hole, however, have more prioritized trying to find KP around the outside. They'll be at heights for now. No one in their general direction, and I don't know how much KP they're going to find if they were to rotate straight down south. They could have potentially just given away all the time to be able to get a good spot in zone for nothing.
Esports in a pretty good spot. Closest team to them is Mama Clubs. Now, Mama Clubs leading the way, Q. As we know, very close on the leaderboard. They are a draw at the moment with Wolves, but the reason that Mama Clubs is leading that draw is Mama Clubs has won a game. So Mama Clubs do have that advantage if it does finish on a draw. One team that need a big game, that is VKG, and it looks like they are getting in to some action here early on. Alternator comes out. LQ Dud needs to be careful. 2 down. LQ Dud cleans up Grape Soda, and just like that, Grape Soda will finish on the bottom 10 after a pretty good victory in game number 4.
Yeah, unfortunately, they had been relatively quiet even on the first half of the day. That one win just not going to be enough for them to really be able to disrupt the rest of the leaderboard here. And they'll have to hope that some of those teams behind them don't turn up and push them even further down the leaderboard from where they currently sit. You did mention, though, BKG, they do need a relatively big game here. And they do also have Dog Red that's right next to them. They might be looking to try to potentially start a fight.
Look, Red. It's 6 Gaming. Another team that need to stay alive here, Q. They've fallen down to 7th position just from that last game, but they are 1 point away from the top 3. So it is only a matter of time for Fizz6 to get some more points. But right now, they are relaxed and they understand the situation here in our final game. It is very close here, like I said, for B versus C.
See a lot of teams that have already started to take over. I mean, the separate floors over at Humbert Labs, expecting this thing to continue to pull in this direction. I don't know how many more teams can coexist in this general vicinity before the actual fight needs to pop off. Black Hole, while they're sitting in 12th, sure, with 25 points, they can still at least put themselves into a top 5 contending position with a very strong game here in game number 6. XX will push through the queue here. We'll be able to let off a couple of shots of the R99, but not enough to feel comfortable to continue to take the fight.
Hemlock in the hand of Easty. Who are they pushing? That is Team Nah. And it looks like Nah now have forced basically to neg rotate all the way north to rotate back south. So hard going at the moment for Nah, but it does look like, I feel like maybe Nah and Black Hole will still maybe fight here in these next closing stages.
So a lot of that early fighting, Stoney, but I think for at least the 16 teams that are left in this lobby, it's going to be back to more business as usual here for at least the remainder of this E district. Except for maybe, I guess, maybe DCG, who is trying to rotate in on that northeastern side behind a couple of teams. But for the likes of Wolves and these couple of teams that are already here at Humbert Labs, they're just going to continue to lock it down and try and see if they can make sure that no one pushes inside of their doors. Teams like EDG, they'll make sure to replace the fences that were left by the team that earlier had I guess, possession of this building, and just make sure they can lock it down to the best of their abilities.
Let's go and have a look. Fizz6 Gaming, the team that I said need to stay alive, and it is VK Gaming versus Fizz6 right now. Avi-san did clutch up before the 1v3. It's only a 1v1 situation for Avi, and this would be huge for Avi. They get rid of VK Gaming. Avi-san just got rid of the EWC champs, and just like that, he puts himself outside. But Fizz6 Gaming get eliminated at 15th, and they may fall out of the top 10 just from this game.
Taken out by Kakoi, who are looking to try and duplicate that same sort of aggression that they had in game number 5. We had seen them pull off a bunch of KP despite the fact that they weren't inside of the top 2. And I guess trying to continue to disrupt things here in E District for the final chance here on the servers before that 3-week break. You'll notice now as the map is overhead, of the teams that are left, the 14 squads, 11 of them have already pretty well solidified their position inside this second following ring. You do have teams like Gen G, though, that are continuing to try and close in on EDG and continue to push them out.
EDG playing aggressive. Need to be a little bit careful, though, as well, with TYK. As you can see, 14 squads still alive right now. Nothing really crazy happening at the moment. The only real crazy part is that Wolves Esports have hit the lead by just 1 point here so far with 14 squads left standing. So with 14 squads left standing, round 3 about to begin. Let's go and have a look at where this zone is going to pull.
continues to pull off towards Humbert Labs here. So for teams like Kakoi, remember they came in and picked up that third party to clean up at least the northern building there of Humbert Labs. As long as they can make sure that they keep Team Ubi, who is outside of their building, outside of the walls, they'll continue to have a pretty safe spot. For teams like EDG on the opposite side of the zone, while they'll be safe for now, it does feel like they'll need to move towards their east eventually here, Sony.
Listen, let's move that way.
14 squads.
My marker.
Have a look at some teams. There's Weibo Gaming who are trying to stay alive right now. They do take the portal back into trouble. They need to be careful because it's Kakoi that are moving in. What a stick. Down goes two. There's one man left standing. Kakoi looking to try and get the victory here on this fight. And I think they do. Weibo get eliminated. Ubi now looking to try and move in as well, as Kakoi are in a pretty good spot moving forward. Gen G still alive, but only down to a solo. And look who it is. Gen G Dexter, the last one standing with PXX right on their tail.
Trying to see if they can clean things up, and they're isolated down here on this southeastern side of the zone. They have blank looking their direction from EDG, but it's literally just the one lone player. They're trying to hunt down Dexter, see if they can find the location. Dexter is rocking the altar, so does have the ability to play around those portals to try and play sneakily. It's just about a matter of wasting time from here. Dog Red, meanwhile, over on this eastern side of the zone. They've already lost Golf Gaps, and Kilo now getting pushed as well, and I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to stay on their feet.
Black Hole, the boys from Open League looking to move in and get rid of Dog Red. And as we can see, I think there's only 2 members left standing for Dog Red. So Black Hole in a pretty good position to clean this up. Do you overextend though? That is the question. It doesn't matter. Dog Red get eliminated. They do lose Durr. And all of a sudden 12 squads left standing.
They get Durr back on their feet is going to be the question. And I'm not quite sure they're going to be able to. DCG, they had a good game number 1, but they have been relatively quiet since then. Maybe they can kind of make this sort of like a bookending sort of match day. A good start, a good finish. They're isolated, I shouldn't say isolated, but they are the most northeastern team. They're trying to find a fight. Nah, could be the one they take a fight with, as it will be Tasting Blood, who will be able to keep them at bay with the R99.
Yeah, Easy Flash does go down, so all of a sudden Team Ubi in some trouble. Closest team to them, Rendang as well. But that was really nice done by TYK as they were moving into position. Oh, sorry, that was Rendang. Rendang getting some kills. So 12 squads left standing here, Q. And not much real estate really left to be had soon.
Oh, Gen G going to be back to a 3, it looks like, on the overhead as they're getting called back in, which is interesting. TYK will be out in that 12th position. Kakoi we had sat on with earlier. They still have themselves a good spot to be able to overlook a majority of the map here, but the problem is they do have a lot of different points that give them access from other points. So if they get pushed by multiple teams, they don't really have a way to stave them off.
DCG. This team knows how to win last games in groups, and this would, if they win, they could win the day just from this game, as well as they're only 6 points away right now from first place. Wolves Esports looking to get in on the action as well. Beautiful shots coming out from Wen, but DCG looking to move in on the action here with their rotating.
The Seer ult to be able to give you a little bit more oversight. There's a Q sent across the way. I was gonna say, I'm not sure if that's gonna hit, but it does dead on hit at least a couple of players, gives you some information. I'm not sure if they're gonna push off of the back of that. You were looking for Team Ubi coming into the day. They're in 17th, but still alive. DCG pushes up on over, and that will be Gen G eliminated. Have you potentially gotten caught off here in a third party? You've at least lost one.
DCG now stuck as a duo. It looks like Black Hole are going to get eliminated as well. And all of a sudden, we are now down to 8 squads left standing. Who is still standing, Q? Well, that is Mama Clubs looking to finish the day on top. Now, they've been consistent from the start. They deserve to finish on top as well. Wolves Esports now down to a duo. Looks like they were getting into it with Rendang. Mama Clubs aren't going to overextend this, and that is a smart play as well. DCG now looking to try and get the reset. Rowie needs to be careful, and they somehow get the job done. Can Louis San get the bat off?
What a thermite. That was rude. Pushes him right on back and keeps him away from being able to find... Or no, the respawn does come off, though. So there's a chance that you get the third back into play. Can you get fully booted and suited up is going to be the question. We had mentioned about Mama Clubs. Do they overextend? Well, they don't extend, but they still do end up getting pushed. They'll be able to stay on their feet for now, and they are going to be able to reset, it does look like it as well.
McCoy now, their main problem is going to be DCG on this backside. DCG are kind of in like a really good position to take God spot as well. So this is going to be an interesting push for the lads. Beautiful shots by Rowie. They will move in. They get 2 down. There's only 1 man left standing, and DCG are looking to take control here in this game. Beautiful reset for DCG, and they're getting KP while doing it as well.
5 of our top 6 teams are still left alive, Stoney, here, and it depends on how these last couple of squads fall. It's still technically anyone's game. DCG looking to try to make a play and at least clean up the last left alive. Shots getting sent across, but not quite enough to get a knock.
Rowie's moving in, being aggressive. Beautiful shots. Kukoi get eliminated. DCG in a top 5 situation, looking to try and get the victory. PXX being very, very quiet today, looking to get their first win as well. They can see some downs. The nades coming in, didn't get through that gap. Beautiful shots coming on, holding the push from DCG on the backside. You can see the alter cues coming out. R9 in the hand. They're trying to clean this man up with 5 squads left standing.
Honestly, PXX can still put themselves in a pretty solid situation as well if they were to pick up a dub and a decent amount of the remaining KP left. You had talked about Mama Clubs, though. Seeing if they could hold on to that #1 spot. They're gonna have to do so as a solo, and with DCG as a trio and only 1 point behind them, and they'll be able to take Wolves out. That gives them the points that they need to at least tie things up into first.
This is insane. DCG have the tendency of usually doing this here, Q, and that is winning the final game. And well, there's only 4 squads left. There's only 1 team that is a solo, and this is Mama Clubs. And the only man that can stop DCG if Mama Clubs gets eliminated now is Edward Gaming, who are still alive as a free man as well.
Does look like, though, EDG get to sit back and chill. It actually looks like PXX is going to be pushing over towards DCG, which does mean EDG could potentially be the third party as long as that fight does actually start. The problem, though, is DCG backs down. DCG is now actually wrapped around towards where ECG was trying to rotate in, and you have Cutest here on the backside of this fight that could be a little bit of a wrench into things as well.
DCG on the ultimate high here. They are overlooking the teams that are inside the zone underneath them. They need to be careful. You don't need to overextend just yet. The Watson fence is coming out as well. I don't know if that's the play, Louis San. They will have to move in anyways. They're getting the KP. They might get eliminated. Mama Clubs are still standing. DCG goes down. Cutest turn now. Trying to hold it down as a solo. It is going to be a PXX victory. And that is going to make the scores very, very interesting here in game number 6.
Is that enough for first? I was trying to do the math with the KP that was left. I don't know if it's enough for first, but for PXX, who you had mentioned had a relatively quiet day, to be able to pull off the game 6 miracles is kind of crazy. This was a team that was able to come out on top last time groups B versus C played one another, and while maybe not being able to secure the first spot in this lobby. To be able to finish top 3 and not 3 for PXX is a darn good finish for him.
EXX getting the last win of the day is crazy. They will get a 9-kill victory to finish it off. The match summary, well, PXX with a 21-point game. Edward Gaming coming second with 16. Mama Clubs get 10 points. That could be enough to stay in the lead. DCG with 14 points. Wolves Esports in the top 5. And, well, the winner of our B versus C before the break is going to be
Hit it.
Mama Clubs by
Wow.
1 point. PXX on 52, Edward Gaming on 52, and DCG on 51. Wolves Esports on 49, and I'm pretty sure, Q, they may have been the top 5 teams left alive in that game just then as well.
We had 4 of the top 5 that were left alive, I'm pretty sure. I think we had 1 more, but yeah, that it was all 5 that were left alive there late. And what's crazy to think about is you had 3 full squads, and then you had 1 player left alive for Mama Clubs. That solo gets a second. Without that, Mama Clubs falls down probably to 4th, maybe even to 5th. Had they fallen before that final, like, 3 squads fall. So big job by the Rat Plays there to come out on top.
What a day of Apex for Mama Clubs. Mama Clubs felt like they were holding on every game that we watched. It felt like that team was just holding on to the victory. And, well, they will take it here for B versus C in our week number 6, well, match day number 6 here in Apac South. We're going to have a look at the top 5 kill getters for today, and, well, it does look like Jackie Chan is going to finish the day on top with 17. No Name with 14. Anyways, Nimbus
has caught me every week, by the way. Almost every week I've gone to pronounce that name. I have never been able to. I got to figure it out.
Yeah, Nimbus sitting 3rd, Rowie 4th, Tracy Dam in the top 5. For the damage, well, when he's going to finish on top with 8.6. No Name sitting on 8.4. Blank 3rd, Nimbus 4th, and Jackie Chan in the top 5. And I think that is 6 different winners for the day. Yes, it is.
It's 6 different winners, and I was trying to think back, Stoney, is that our first day this year so far where we have not had a player get 10k damage or 15 kills?
It was the closest damage day I think we've ever had.
Yeah, a lot of that I was going to say, I think really reflected of just how close this lobby was from top to bottom. I mean, remember, those top 5 teams only separated by a handful of points, and the group behind them from like 6th through 11th, also incredibly close, man. The competition that we are seeing week in and week out here at Apac South at Battlegrounds HQ has been phenomenal, and I'm excited to see what all of these teams are going to be cooking up during the break.
That's we are. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all she wrote once again here for Apac South. Remember, like we said, there's a little bit of a break, but we've got a lot of stuff on here in Battlegrounds HQ. We've got the charity event on the 15th of May. We've got the Battle of Apac on the 16th of May. Once again, we appreciate you guys choosing us to watch for your day here of Apac South action. This is B vs C. It is Q and Stoney back together again. And, well, there's only one man that knows how to send you all home in the right way, and I'm going to send it to him so we can get our hell out of it.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all hanging out. If you haven't done so, hit the follow button down below. Turn those notifications on. We've been getting busy over on the YouTube and social media, so make sure y'all are getting involved over there as well. Couple week break till we see you back for the next one. But until we do catch y'all back for the next one, man, do me a favor and make sure you don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love hard. All right, y'all, that's Stoney. I'm Q, and from the rest of the crew here from the front to the back, y'all have a great rest of your week. Peace. We'll see you here in a couple weeks, y'all.
Let's go.